Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Little announcement. Remember that the link down in the description for the full technical analysis course, we are starting up a sale here. And so you can now get 80% off by clicking the link down in your description for the full technical analysis course down there. Okay. It's very good. It'll teach you how to look at these weekly expected moves, how to really understand what they are, how to understand divergence, how to understand the things that you really need to know. From my perspective, every trader should know in order to trade in this market. If you're not paying attention to options, well, you need at least to be paying attention to some of that because this is a very options-driven market. And something like understanding monthly, weekly expected moves is a very good thing. And we use divergences and things like that. And that's exactly what we're looking for today. So if you have been confused why we bounced over here, what we were looking for in this area and why we took calls in this area, why we are looking at this area very seriously still, because this could end up in the upward direction or this could turn back down. So we do talk about how to manage your trade as well. A lot of people out there trading do not have a plan for if their trade goes wrong. They buy it and they hope it goes up. So if you're having those kinds of struggles, the course is now on sale. It's 80% off. It is a pretty damn good price. You can get that down there just for $200 right now. Okay, you can get that for $200. That's going to be there, but I hope you guys give it a check if you are looking for some learning material. And then at the same time, you can come back here and ask questions, right? Always be asking questions, but today we have some stuff to focus on. So let's get past all that BS and just go into, what are we looking for here today? Well, what was the signal we were waiting for if we would cut and sweep this low at the daily expected move just a couple of days ago? What was the signal we were looking for? The 4-hour chart. We were looking for the 4-hour chart to be able to confirm in the upward direction. And that's why we need to get into what seems to be the most probable thing for today. We gave that away and talked about that overall on Rumble yesterday. Hey, watch for if this 4-hour turns up. Yeah, the 2 hours turning up at the end of the day, but this is ooh, that's a bad bar. The end of the day is the worst bar for this to confirm. So I try not to read into it too much. But we always say, hey, that is a form of confirmation. It's just a very weak one. And so be aware of what seems to be still very probable. The fact that we could make a move down, we could see this actually cut this low and go down to something like 545 before we're able to turn this around. If we do not turn around, remember this, okay? If you are seriously worried about a stock market crash, then one of the early signals are you are going to form something like this. You're going to get a bounce and you're going to turn down. It's not going to be able to turn back up. But most of the time, you do see that divergence project you in the upward direction. Most of the time, all of this nonsense down here is a trap. So that is something to be seriously aware of. A crash is the lower percentage thing. But if you are afraid of that, then a 30-minute crossing down is what you would see off of the 5 when that is going to start. What we're talking about is looking for if this can turn back up, if we can turn back up and create some divergence here for our 30-minute MACD, for our 30-minute RSI. If those things do not happen, then this thing doesn't have divergence, and then you might be right in calling a crash, but I would really be paying attention to the fact that there is potential for daily divergence. A lot of funky things can happen down in these areas, and I'm pointing out that 545 because of the Qs. The Qs have a closer weekly expected move, and the daily expected moves are in the bottom right corner. We do notice that the Qs, their weekly expected move is a little bit closer to this low. So the Qs could shoot all the way down to this type of area, that 450, 250, and then end up curling back up, and we see this. And that would be where the Qs are able to go to a weekly expected move, but the SPY is not able to. This can become more complex, right? We don't know the future, but we're aware of the things that can happen over this trading session, and we're going to stay aware if this becomes even more complex going forward. Because if you remember in this area, hey, we had a 30-minute and a 2-hour divergence. If you remember in this area, 30-minute divergence, 2-hour divergence didn't happen, but we were always aware of the daily divergence that can come, and now it is here. So really be paying attention to reversal signals right now. The reason that you're really paying attention to these signals, and this is something we tackle a lot in the course, if you see multiple timeframes at the same time, we can use those shorter timeframes as hints. So if we get a hint here, you could end up seeing this daily, even if it curls down, end up going like this, catching a little wick, and then we go, uh-oh, bam, to the upside, right? Tariffs are going to be the big thing. I believe that comes out right at like the close. They start talking about it. I don't know what he's overall saying by like, what's the day he's calling it? What's the day he's calling it? I don't remember, but the weather has been pretty good. It mainly was fine. It looked like, and this happens a lot, and I think it's God taking care of me over here because overall, we got to thank God for it because a lot of the time when we do have those big warning signs, it kind of like just barely misses us or it stops and then starts somewhere else. So I'm very thankful for that and for my family. If anyone had any problems with the weather lately and it has damaged your home, your life in some way, hey, I feel for you. It's not a good thing to go through. And that's why you always want to be paying attention to what risk that you don't see coming. Did I know a tornado was coming yesterday? No. But I'm very thankful that the weather was able to work itself out. I will say that. Thank you guys so much for being here this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are ready for a good trading session. It looks like the things that we are paying attention to are still here. We still have other stocks to look at as far as it goes. Now, there is one thing with something like Apple that I wanted to talk about. Okay, I think this is good for people to hear. So, which moves do you think are going to possibly like even go all the way back up to like see the biggest moves? Well, some of them you would say would be things like Apple because there is something unique here in that notice that we didn't go down and make that divergence and then curl up, meaning we're already positive. So this positive trend can get going really, really fast. So Apple and Tesla, if they are able to resolve themselves, able to actually see these things end in the upward direction, I'd be watching out for them, but it doesn't mean that there aren't great opportunities, right? This could be an overcorrection for things like Amazon. We're paying attention to a 30-minute here, seeing if we can go down to the bottom side of our zone and create a divergence, right? We also see this from like things like Nvidia. Nvidia, we're looking for, hey, can we sweep this low again, get people thinking stock market crash? We'll see what happens with that. Meta, similar scenario, but more buying pressure. So we're looking for Meta to be able to hold up a little better, maybe with a higher low. Microsoft, same type of story, solid buying pressure to get all the way back to that 5-day moving average. And then we're going to see if this can resolve itself with a higher low. If not, and we get some kind of mega flush, hey, still look for if the divergence is there. That's the only thing, right? This can be the first thing you see if Microsoft wanted to say crash. But if you see a big buy come in right here, and this is able to confirm in the upward direction, you see an angle like this, and you see the same thing on your RSI, that's not a bad thing. It's everything we look for. And you might be paying attention to weekly expected moves. Monthly expected moves were put out yesterday, or 2 days ago, actually, Monday night for Patreon members. So Patreon's down there as well if you want to get monthly expected moves for all the stocks that we cover. There are some great things going on, though. I mean, a lot of these things are looking like, oh, look at that. DJT is down 10%. Okay, so we have a weekly expected move for DJT. Let me see if that is reaching down towards those areas. And you're not even at your daily or your weekly expected move yet. You still have a little bit further to go. Can you believe it? So we'll see what happens with that throughout the day. Palantir, things like this, they just rejected. They still can reach down to lower levels. I'd just really be watching the weekly expected moves. If this is going to get, worse and worse and worse, okay, then we're going to potentially see this break down even further. We'll look for if this low is cut out in some way, but I don't think that that's necessarily the case. But look how Palantir was able to, and if it even just creates a little divergence right here, kind of fakes people out in I think someone mentioned a big slanted head and shoulders. Still want to be aware of it, right? If this goes down far enough, rejects, you don't see any reversal here. It can be a problem. But for now, the daily scale is curled down on somewhat of a positive bar. I would still take it a little seriously and say look for those shorter time frames for Palantir. But Palantir is very cool because it's already seen the upside move. You've already seen a pullback, and you got to a great level, and it's very deep. So if you're able to resolve this in the upward direction and take out this level, I think Palantir might be able to go to a new all-time high. And I know that's crazy to say, but I genuinely think that. Gold, yes, gold is remaining at elevated levels, but I think this is going to be affected after today. I really think after today, gold, GLD, the futures, everything, I think it's going to be there. And I think we'll see a reaction here from GLD. Now, that could be good, could be bad, but I can tell you one thing. People who are starting to talk about gold online, from what I see, not a lot of people were mentioning it over here, right? But now over here, some people started to talk about it. Then it started to pull down, so they stopped. Then we see these two gap ups, and everyone on the retail side starts saying, but look at gold, I'm buying gold. The gold's the thing to get into. That thing's really safe. That thing's really, really safe. Yeah, okay. You can say that if you want, but but if you look at the futures over here and you look at a weekly chart and you go, hey, if that crosses down, that's not necessarily a good thing, right? It's still not a good thing. Now, this is a very strong move from gold, and this right here shows me, and I think this is retail taking it up past where it's supposed to be, right? I still think, gold as far as futures goes and GLD, I think it can go upward later on, but I think this is the FOMOers getting involved, and eventually you're going to see a big sell down. And I would really like this level of about, let's say 2,500, because that's the tricky area, right? The market likes to go to areas where it can have a positive or negative reaction, right? This could be support, but this could also be where you build structure to curl down again. And we need to be watching out for that if you are trading gold. But I really think this is FOMOers getting involved at this point for gold. I think this is people over hedging. I really don't think, and I think it's perfectly fine to be that way. I really don't think this is as bad as it could be. Like, right, the weekly scale is starting to slightly go negative, but remember, we were saying this weekly bar is going to be very important. We will talk more about weekly charts on Saturday, okay? Let's get into a 30-minute chart because that's mainly what we want to be watching here. Reset the chart a little bit here. So we mainly want to be focusing on this 30-minute chart and looking at our daily expected move. Your daily expected move downside is 552.31. If you want the expected moves, they are in the bottom right corner as of right now. Okay, I'm going to go over to our stream real quick, and we are going to start a poll. All we are going to ask is, do you see structure? I just read Noah's structure. Sorry, when I clicked on the YouTube video. So if you want to see, let's see. I mean, today's all about tariff. So our tariff bottom or crash, right? That's all we'll say. We'll say tariff bottom or crash, right? Are we going to bottom out with the tariffs, or are we going to see further crash or further correction? We'll just put it that way, but we're going to make it dramatic, and I accidentally put cotton instead of bottom. Okay, not cotton or crash, it is bottom or crash, all right? So who thinks we're going to bottom out on the tariff news? Who thinks we're going to crash, as in continue to correct, continue to be confusing, or crash, right? There's multiple options there because bottom is potentially the more likely thing. We'll make it multiple options there to make it more confusing. We'll do this, crash, correction, continue, right? Crash, correction. And how do I get rid of this? I keep accidentally adding more and more options. Okay, start the poll. All right, we're about to open up in about, 1.5, 2 minutes? Should be a good time. Make sure that as you are trickling in, you give a like to the stream, all right? Make sure you guys are giving a like to the stream. Let's try to get to 100 likes today. I see 31 people already have. Thank you guys for coming in and doing the thing to help out the community so we can get to more retail traders, just so we can help them understand how things like this really trick people, because you get over, and I know emotions are part of the game, but I feel like we take our emotions and we want to do things with our money, right? It makes our hands want to do things. But if we can control that just a little bit and make sure we're looking at it with a level head, it doesn't mean we can't be fearful of a crash, right? I'm going to have knots in my stomach if I see this market start crashing down by 10%, especially from these levels. But that doesn't mean I have to bet money. That doesn't mean I have to hold on to calls. That doesn't mean I have to do anything. I can sit in cash and watch whatever until I see the things that I like to see. Patience is a very good thing. Survivability is a good thing. And today we're looking for the potential for an opportunity where if it doesn't come, we have to put ourselves in a place where we can either survive or thrive. And I love that. I'm feeling strongly sarcastic. Finn's feeling sarcastic this morning. Sorry, guys, I haven't read really any of the chat. Hopefully you guys are ready for the day. Hopefully you have your plan for the day. I feel like I'm a little loud today. Let me get this off so I can read your guys' chat here. Sorry, guys, I can't get through all the chat. I'm going to start reading right now, all right? Is this poll just for today? Let's do it for today. Let's say, we'll say the news comes out like almost right at the close, okay, and we open up with the gap. So the news comes out pretty much right at the close, apparently. It's going to start up then. So we would just say this as of today in case there's a gap tomorrow in one direction, okay? Because it most likely will produce a big move and hit in a certain direction. We just don't know which direction that'll be. We don't know that reaction, but we do know that some potential dark pool trades coming in at the lows here. We do see structure that could show how this is an opportunity. If you are still unaware of how this is an opportunity, especially on the daily scale, these are the opportunities you do not want to miss out on. I will show you the last time we made a divergence just like this one more time, guys. We'll do it one more time. Look at October of 2023. We had the flat divergence on the MACD and RSI. It still got pretty bad, right? It still got pretty bad. We lost 200. Everyone's saying we're going to crash back down, but then we get the daily divergence that confirms, and oh my goodness, that thing went up for a long time, okay? That went up for about a little over a year. I think it was about 14 months. This right here, we could go up with these signals for, say, something like a year, okay? So we need to be aware of that. We're going to be aware if there is some kind of trap to the upside, because we still have a lot of risk in 2025 of bad things happening. We are seeing a lot of crises come together, really. And I think the main thing is, are people going to be able to keep spending in this environment? So we'll be paying attention to it. But this is where a crash can happen. But if everyone's saying crash, 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 if everyone is saying this is going to be it, this is going to be it, and you see a reversal signal, I would highly encourage you to just pay attention to that reversal signal. Give yourself that even 1% chance, even though the percentages are way higher that this is a correction right now. And maybe if you're overly bearish or something right now, that's fine. It's okay. I get it. But make sure you have that 1% guy in your brain going, but what if there's a bullish signal? You know, just something like that. And it might mean a hedge against a downside play, right? You can do things that we do to the upside in the opposite direction as well. If you think there's going to be a crash, but you see a reversal signal and you think it's going to fail, okay, then it doesn't hurt to hedge too much, right? If it crashes, you're going to make a ton and you don't care if that hedge loses money, right? That's the decisions you have to make in the market. You have to make those decisions for yourself, unfortunately. May is the next Fed meeting, correct? As long as it's not a nothing burger, should provide guidance for the rest of the year. Now, what that's making me think of is the sell in May and go away kind of time. And this is where we need to understand that we could head into a time where things start to unravel, okay? Now, I said that I was mainly paying attention to March, right? March was the last month I was paying attention to. We will look into May a bit, but we want to understand that this is a daily divergence that could last until October. Now, we could still get another correction. We could still get another 5% pullback. We could still do those things. We can get multiple of them throughout the summer and things like that, but we're just going to be paying attention to signals very carefully, okay? Because at this point, if you thought that there was going to be new all-time highs forever and ever, well, then you saw this confirmed down. You immediately should have switched that thinking. And we pointed out the divergence at the high. And guess what? You have a divergence at the low forming. Okay, it's forming. So we need to understand that if this starts to curl up back above that 9-day moving average, it's starting to say, hey, this looks pretty good. All right. It's the same thing at the top. We're seeing it down here, just not a triple divergence, right? We're seeing a just regular old divergence that we saw back in 2023 that can produce great upside. And the percentages say, hey, the stock market most of the time goes up. The stock market sometimes is a contrarian move, right? And that contrarian move could be, well, if everyone's saying crash, if everyone's making those big bets saying crash, 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 well, maybe we need to understand that this could go in the opposite direction from them. They could be caught off guard. And all it takes is a couple of rich people to buy some stuff and then see that thing shoot up and confirm with momentum. And then the algorithms take over and you're starting to short squeeze. That is a bad idea. Okay, I've done it before. I've lost money trying to short a short squeeze before. Back in the bear market times, I was like, oh yeah, this is a short. Well, it ripped away from me. So the reason that I think, or another reason that I like putting out this channel, is to tell you guys about the mistakes that I've made, especially for the new people out there who need to understand you're going to make mistakes. You're going to potentially do things that are, when you look back at it, maybe even stupid. And you kind of go, God, why was I being so dumb? Because every decision could be a good decision, but there are key things. There are key skills that you can have that help you in understanding what an actual good decision is. All right. And in this area, we know a good decision would be if there's a daily divergence and that confirms to the upside, we are very likely to squeeze. If that daily divergence produces upside and it fails, we are going to manage our risk. Right? It's as simple as that. It's all decision making. And that's what we'll be looking for. If you guys need monthly expected moves as well, just shout it out and I will read them off for you, or just zoom out real quick so you can see. 587.95 to the upside for the SPY. 530.83 to the downside for the SPY as well for the monthly expected moves. If you need to go back a second and pause on that and then hit that live button to be back with us, that would be appreciated. If you guys can't tell, I have a great energy level this morning because my house is standing, right? There's no tornado that came through here. That happens a lot in Kansas where it's like everything, it's the recipe for disaster, and then it's not as bad as it could have been. And I'm very appreciative of that. Dead cat bounce. I think that one there, hey, yeah, that could be a dead cat bounce. It went directly to, actually, dead cat bounces a lot of the time end up taking back the 5-day moving average. Weirdly enough, real bear market dead cat bounces do have a pretty solid move, depending on the time frame. But this would be a 30-minute dead cat bounce, yes. Gold also seems like it may be out of steam for now. Well, it's out of steam, but it is being fed by retail, I think, at this point. I think retail is saying, oh, this market's going to crash. Look, retail at the lows here is going to think stock market crash for sure, for sure, for sure. They could be right. It's just a low percentage, and that's perfectly fine if that's what you think is going to happen. You could be right. I'm not saying what to do with your money. I'm just saying the percentages here. And I think people are running to gold. Retail is running to gold at the highs because they're thinking still stock market crash. I think that's what's taking place here because we're violating those divergences in a very wonky fashion where it's just like straight up, very gradual, but straight up. So I would just be cautious with gold, right? It is at a very extreme high. What is the very basic way of trading? Buy low, sell high, right? Right? Like, so we'll see. Going shooting this study, stand by for time. Oh, sweet. I gotta go shooting with my cop buddies this weekend. Hell yeah, we gotta go to their range is dope. Their outdoor range is so sick. I actually do not think that the big money is willing to sell at these levels. I think right now the bigger discussion is just, it is kind of that discussion. Are they willing to sell, or is it more likely they're willing to buy? Right? Is it more likely they're willing to buy? Well, how do we see that? It's very difficult to see that in real time. But so what we do is we look for the signals of confirmation of momentum because the big players like to do things in these areas. A lot of big players are just position traders, but those bigger, shorter or medium term traders can come in at these lows. We can see algorithms, set up buys down at these lows, and we'll see what happens. Lucas, thank you for telling us the exact trades to take and how to use maximum leverage. You have the best financial advice. Hey, Carter, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. You're going to get me in trouble, Carter. No. I think everyone here is adults. Everyone understands that, I'm not going to sit there and tell you what to buy at the grocery store. Yeah. So why would I tell you what to buy with stocks? I'm just telling you the percentages, and then you got to figure out what you want to buy, what you want to sell, what you want to do with your money. Perfectly fine with me. Appreciate you, Carter. I see you laughing already. Yeah, I just start freaking out. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that to Carter. No, thank you so much for the $10. Everyone shout out Carter. I'm sorry about that, Carter. The alert box was turned off for a moment. I'll see if we can get that to flash up on the screen. It's not even showing up in my... It's not even showing up in my thing here. That's what sucks. Okay, that one showed up. Mike P, thanks for subscribing. I see that one. I don't see yours. That's lame. Why'd that happen? That's lame. Can you please check HIMS? We'll check HIMS right after Tesla because BK, we do pay attention to Tesla first, all right? That's true, Jim. All right, so let's go check over on Tesla. Remember, Tesla is still holding up, right? Tesla is holding up better than other stocks. And you might see that big gap down and be like, Lucas, you're crazy. Other stocks are still down here. Actually, other stocks are down here, right? So Tesla is holding up better, whether you like it or not. The 2-hour never confirmed. Look at that rejection on the 2-hour. Now, does this mean it's all over and things are terrible for Tesla? Well, it means right now things aren't looking good for Tesla. It means things aren't looking good for Tesla at the moment. The 30-minute chart is crossing down, but we are still positive. Tesla, weirdly enough, could still make a higher low. We'll see what happens here. We could go down to these levels. We'll see what happens with this throughout the day. But the bigger part is just like, is the daily going to be able to continue, or are we going to actually see things confirm down and have a bigger downward move, right? These are the stocks that are performing better. If they start to not perform as well, we can definitely see lower prices, okay? So if this daily crosses over, I would take it seriously. This can chop the low, go make a new one. We'll see if like a 4-hour has already crossed. Looks like it has. So you are in overall 4-hour pullback mode, right? We'll see if this is able to hold up better because this looks like terrible flagging if it even is. But for the most part here, we're still looking, hey, If that 2 hour is by that center line, does it ever just curl up into positive territory because we haven't lost this low yet, right? We could go all the way down and fill this gap before we actually want to see upside. I don't think you want that to happen because Tesla's one of the stocks holding up better. I think the same thing for Apple. I don't think you want to see Apple go down to these lows. I really do not think you want to see that because that can produce, especially if other things go down as well, that can be what produces serious downside. So be paying attention. Great stuff here for the SPY, but Tesla, we'll see if that's able to just curl up on a 2 hour. And it's as simple as that for me. Hims, you got to be paying attention. Once again, 30-minute. We saw the sporadic move. This is actually really good, but you gave it up really fast and big gap down's going, ooh. Okay, so this can see that low taken out. It really can, just because of how aggressive this gap was to start off the day. If you just get this to curl down, you could see how that would be 1, 2, 3 pull downs, and then you're already at that low. So I'd be cautious with that. The 2 hour here was able to confirm in the upward direction. This would be great actually for Hims if you can go like this and see that actually, like, just see the same thing you see on the 30-minute, just very tight on the 2 hour chart. And then I want to pull up a daily scale. Daily scale is showing, ooh, that's going to be tight. Yeah, that's going to be really tight for Hims. I don't know if you'll get a hint from this daily. I would be willing to say very flat. I would be willing to say flat divergences and slightly upward on the MACD. So if the daily confirms up here, this means that Hims is probably going to take out this level and try to reach up higher. Where would it get to? There is a little zone in here that I would create. If you want to create a box for yourself, I'm not going to do it because we don't look at Hims too much. But this would be the area I'm looking for, more so looking to the upside of that area. See if you can get that small pullback to continue to the upside, especially if it is squeezing. But the good part about this is, look at this. Big ass move, right? That really spread out your Bollinger Bands. Now it's tight, so something big is coming, all right? The magic number is 69. Said this slot. Oh, Finn's feeling sassy. Finn's a little sassy today. I like it, Finn. Keep it up. I want to see all the sarcasm all day. All right? All morning long. We need that sarcasm. You can be our comedic relief. Let's go check on volatility because that thing, I was kind of drawing some stuff up because I analyze things. I take this very seriously when I come onto this live show. I analyze things before I even go live so that I can see what we need to be paying attention to for the day and if anything has changed from the night before, because usually I'm analyzing for you guys again on YouTube. So at night. But the key thing here is the daily scale is confirming up. Do you want that to happen today? No. You do not want this daily to confirm up because that starts to point to this is bad. But remember, we have a news event after hours. So anything can really happen after hours. And a lot of the signals are saying the selling momentum is weak. And we notice here, there's something huge to go off of. The SPY went and made a lower low. The VIX did not make a higher high. That is a big deal. That means if we actually get this 4 hour to cross down, if this 2 hour confirms back up and crosses back down, right, we can make a little 2 hour divergence or something like that in here. We'll see if that's able to take place. That would be interesting. But for the time being, if that 4 hour can cross down, ooh, that could just be bam, reaction, bam again. And we end up down towards 1212 very quickly. So we'll be paying attention, but I would be looking at volatility. I think the hourly chart might look better if you're trying to see if there's a divergence created today. The way a divergence is created today, boom to the downside, and then we catch that bounce. The bounce is very, very important. You have to see that momentum shift at the lows. That's going to be a big deal. Yeah, 4 p.m. Eastern. So that's the close, right? Semiconductor is macro bullish, in my opinion. Fire sales on, yeah, and you can look at, we can go look at SMH, something like that, and just see like, oh, this looks very flaggy. This looks like, oh no, but it literally looks almost like NVIDIA's. Do you have daily divergence? Yes. So do you see how this can be a big problem? Let's even go back. Where did this ever have a daily divergence back in October? Look at the last time you had a divergence on SMH. It was the same point, October 2023. You had the divergence on the RSI. You have it on the MACD. And then you go up to these levels and you see the same freaking thing. If this confirms up, that is a big macro signal suggesting that semiconductors, yeah, they could go through some mess in here, but this is a signal that can take you to all-time highs again. You can make new all-time highs with this type of stuff, okay? Now that you have daily divergence, we can start to really say all-time high is very, very possible for this, very possible for the SPY. I would even say very possible for NVIDIA because that has the daily divergence as well. You know what? You know what? you know what? You know what company is probably going to see a boom to the upside? It looks like semiconductors, or at least NVIDIA. NVIDIA is blatantly showing you daily divergence. If that confirms, then that divergence is confirmed, and I'd be careful trying to short something with a daily divergence that says we are going to go up. All right, let's focus in, though, for the day. See what people are reading into. Once again, it could already be done, weirdly enough. We don't have to curl down. We already see the divergences in semiconductors. We already see the divergence for NVIDIA. So it could be done. It literally could. These 30-minute moves were able to take you into positive territory, and they haven't even confirmed back down. I'm just saying that a very probable thing is to sweep this low again, make people lose hope, and then see that thing curl back up. That would get the cues to the weekly expected move if we would do that type of look. So very interesting. Let's watch the cues for just a bit, right? Let's leave it on the cues for a bit, and I'm going to read through chat. I'm going to drink my coffee. Give me a minute coffee break here. I've been trying to give out all. I feel like I didn't make a video last night, so I have to spew everything out. It already is dumping a bit. Right, that thing skyrocketed. Saudi oil has a massive stake in Newsmax. Newsmax, how is Newsmax? Wasn't it? What did it end up at the end of the day? It was. I'm sorry your donation still didn't pop up. That's annoying to me, by the way. But Carter, sorry about that. I appreciate it, buddy. If only, yeah, what did Newsmax end up? I think when I last looked at it, it was 1,400%, 1,450 maybe. Oh no! If it offered contracts, I might have taken a little $50 risk to reward can be a nice little $400 payday on something like that sometimes if you can go like a month out. But the implied vol is probably very high. And max 14 to 265. My God, I'm gonna go look at it again over here on my other charts. Dang, Amazon really whipped down there. Nice. Okay, good buy coming in there. I want to look over this though. NMAX. Ooh. So that was up from the low to the high. Oh my gosh, it literally was so close. It was about 1,926% is what I see. Woo! That's very large. Yesterday though, yesterday alone, looks like 171, but from the low you had a 14 to 83 in one day, and then the next day you go to that 264 pretty much. That's wild. That's wild. That's the only thing I can say about it. That's wild. Uh-oh, but DJT's terrible. DJT's awful. DJT's the worst. DJT's setting up pretty much just a sweep of the low and trying to buy up. We'll see if that's gonna do anything good. We still, we never want to read into just like these little movements in here throughout the day. This still can be given up. This still can go all the way up to here, get that pullback, then curl back up. This can do a lot in the middle area here. So that's why I'm mostly just sticking to my conviction in my trade. It might be, it looks like fake out to the downside. Here's what we want to see though. Something key. Remember those gap, fill, and then they drop again? Yeah, that can happen. Anything can happen with a gap. People have funny names for it, right? Gap and trap, gap and go, gap and gap fill and go, gap trap fill and go. Like you can call it whatever you want, but it's just like, hey, what are you seeing in front of you? Did it fill the gap? Oh, did it curl down on a 30-minute after? Okay, then we're probably going to sweep that low, right? We don't have to read into a ton. If it remains positive, that's why I already have a position, just in case we start things off, right? I can call whatever names to make myself seem real cool and technical, but I can also just say, if the 30-minute crosses down after we fill the gap, then it's probably going to go cut that low, or at least hit the daily expected move. Dip and rip, gap and trap, Corey. Going to Gapplebee's. Oh, I like it. Keep it going, guys. Let's have some fun with it. Who else got a fun gap joke? This here, see, this here is called a perfect thigh gap. Yeah, this is a thigh gap, 100%. Yeah. You don't know what a thigh gap is? Oh, wow. You don't know what a thigh gap is? The billionaires messing with Tesla. I don't get how, the whole go green thing just went totally out the window. It's crazy to me because I've actually, like, for fun, I watched some videos of people getting caught doing stuff to Teslas. They're like children. They're like 50-year-olds keying cars, and then when they get caught in it, they're like, I didn't know that was bad. I thought it was good. It's like, dude, you're an adult. A gap and snap. Oh my god, that sounds like bend and snap. I like that. Ew. Pump and dump Forrest Gump. That's a good one. I like that too. That's pretty good. We need some crash jokes. We need some gap jokes. We need some squeeze jokes. Jerome Powell already is a joke. No, I'm just playing. He's got a rough job. But you never know anymore. Even Taylor Swift apparently is gonna be subpoenaed for some court case, and my wife's telling me about it because she read that book. Apparently Taylor Swift's going to be subpoenaed, and we're going to find out that Taylor Swift's actually a horrible person. I know I'm going to have to tell my friend who, buys like 3 of her tickets a year and wastes $3,000. The Quartering has good Tesla videos. Oh yeah, I actually subscribe to the Quartering on Rumble. Rough job or rough at his job? I like milk. I like that statement. Love me a good thigh gap. Monumental gets it. What's good? I hope the Tesla attackers get charged with hate crimes. I just hope they get charged with something. Like you can't be like, damaging someone's property is illegal and we're going to punish you. Damaging someone's Tesla, which is their property, is illegal, but it's okay. You didn't know what you were doing. That's the Torges. Please get the technical term right, okay? That's called a gap trap and go. This guy. This guy. I'll go check on Tesla over here. Man, what a good buy come in there. NVAX or NMAX? Because NVAX. I know NVAX we've looked at. Okay, Novax, yeah. Novax is super deep. You got to see these on the bigger time frame. Novax, no divergence. I mean, here's what I'd say about these. These are ones. Why did that come down? Oh, so this is a COVID beneficiary. This was a serious COVID beneficiary. Well, if I ever think COVID's going to happen again, if I ever think measles is going to get serious in the United States, I know that's growing a little bit. You don't see good signals, but as far as if it would get up to $300 again, wouldn't $1,000 invested at $6 be an okay? The risk to reward type of decisions. Torges, I'm messing with you, by the way. Looks like the gold shorting has begun. Looks like it has begun. Yeah, I would more so look at this from a risk to reward standpoint and be like, hey, yeah, $1,000, forget about it. Just be like, hey, I could lose $1,000, but if that ever made a move all the way back to 300, well, that would be what, 6 times 50. Then I don't know about options there. 50x. I don't think that'd be bad. Sorry, I was just trying to look at it further and further. I'm trying to look at the bigger charts because I think the monthly is just. Actually, the monthly crossed up. It's just very squeezed. Like you're literally at the lows, right? Now this has only been around since. Okay, it goes back to 96. So buy low, sell high. I'm sure some guy out there probably just looks at NVAX, buys it down at $3 to $6, and then sells it up towards $100 to $300. Like I bet there's some guy out there doing that. That's fine. That might be the game that he's researched and he wants to play. Sorry about that hiccup. He wants to play. Not really my game just yet. right? I'll be doing that in the actual, if it crashes here, do you guys think I'll be unhappy? Who thinks I'll be unhappy if we see the mega crash happen right now? No, I'll be pretty damn happy, guys. My 80% of cash can get working for me. Maybe 500. Yeah, Corey, that's how I see it. Like a risk to reward type of thing. And then with those, I like to treat them like I don't even care. I'm not going to look at it every day. I'm literally going, hey, in the next 10 years, that $500 could turn into a good investment, right? That's what we would say, right? Because $1,000 times 50, if it goes to 300 and you're able to see that, oh, okay, well, that's, 50,000. 500, okay, 25,000. If you woke up 10 years from now and you just go, oh shit, oh, man, why is my account looking good? And then you scroll down, you're like, oh yeah, I bought this NVAX thing a long time ago. All my other trades suck, but damn, NVAX, 25K? Sick. A lot of people just trade that way. And I would say that a lot of people do that. And even, like I said, even smart people like Warren Buffett probably do things like that or did things like that till they found the ones they want to hold. And then you sell it and then it goes up 200%. Yeah, but if it's up already, I don't care. If something's, if an investment, if something like that, and you catch a pop that goes from $6 to $100 or $200 and you sell and it goes to 300 or 400, are you really upset? You turned like $1,000 into 25 grand or something. Like, silver grifters still trying to convince people that it isn't fair for gold to be 3K and silver not to be at least 200. I think silver will have its day, but I think silver will have its day when no one expects it to have its day, right? I think you're starting to get that attitude, right, Jim? That attitude of the people who are even bullish on silver could give up. Once they give up, usually that's when something big happens. Dude, okay, Richard, I have to tell you this. I actually clicked on Lotto Stock's video yesterday. I feel bad for the guy because I was on Twitter and he happened to pop up my Twitter feed and I was like, "Oh my god, he has a Twitter. This is great." I clicked on it and then I looked into the comments on his Twitter feed. Oh my gosh, I kind of feel for him. He's going with some, if you go with crazy calls, you're going to get crazy responses, but he gets a ton of views for it. So if that's the game for him, that's the game for him. I'm not going to sit there and do get rich quick schemes. That's not the thing. The get rich quick scheme, the get rich quick not scheme is just to practice patience, make your own decisions, and do decisions that you see as very good based on the skills you have. But man, that I watched it for like 2 minutes and I skipped through a few parts to see if it was, and I was just like, this one was bad. I think he was saying like he cracked the algorithm. And I'm like, bro, you cannot take screenshots of 2000 and pull it over to the SPY and tell me that it's going to be exactly the same. It's just not. The timing can be similar, but it's just not going to be the same. I don't like talking badly about people. He might have great stuff. Like he might have his way of doing things, and I'm just not part of his Discord, but I'm just very hesitant of people like that. And I feel for the guy because he was getting really ripped apart in some comments. And I was like, man, emotionally, I hope he is not reading those comments. And then I see him commenting back. So he is reading all those. And I used to be very big on Instagram and all these other little apps, right? All those social apps, TikTok, all that stuff. And I can tell you that reading comments, reading what people say on the internet, it will really cause you to be very upset all the time. Because most people out there are very quick to show anger. Not a lot of people are quick to show compassion, right? Even if you're doing comedy or something like I was, people still will attack you at a big rate on the internet. So we got to say this, anyone who's willing to put their ideas on the internet, we hope that they are very genuine, but anyone who's willing to put your ideas on the internet, that's a big deal. Treat it like very cautiously. And I would say that the Joe Rogan method is a very good method where you post your ideas, you post your opinions, and then you just walk away. You say, I don't care. That's my opinion. Black Belt Trading, he trades algos. I actually gave a REIT Trading a view because you guys, right, someone mentioned a REIT Trading. And if you guys have questions about stocks and things like that, please ask them in the chat. But a retrading, I actually like the way that he talks about stocks, the way that he talks about risk, and the information that he was giving. Now, that was only one video. So I would need to assess it more. I am looking for people to potentially team up with. Remember my idea in the next 5 to 10 years, I really want to create almost like a full financial channel where multiple people with different ideas get together and we can discuss things. We can show different ways of how we look at markets. And I think it's a very cool thing to do over the next 5 to 10 years. So he's on my list right now. I'm vetting him, seeing if he's any good. And I think so far, I like what I see. We'll see if that continues. But thank you guys for mentioning him. Sold over 50% of my physical silver yesterday. Tossed a couple bucks into, let's look at silver, right? We're seeing this go up, right? 2 hour. We need a good confirmation here. And notice the Qs actually didn't confirm on this either. A little hint here. If you get it at the last part of the day, I like to make sure it's also on the Qs at the same time, or at least maybe even on every indice at the same time. This is a 30-minute bar right here, but we're looking at a 2-hour chart. And that's a problem, right? It doesn't have the full 2 hours in it. So really, if this would have continued, then the bar would have looked like a big wick coming down so far and then would have came back up now, right? So something that I look for sometimes is just, is it on the Qs? Is it on the IWM? Is it on the DIA? Well, we'll see, right? But for the most part, at the end of yesterday, it was only on the SPY. I do want to look at silver, though. Let's go look at that real quick. We're not going to look at futures. So silver has a problem here. The problem is daily divergence. We see it. You see the little divergence, 2-hour divergence here that caused the drop, right? Do we have a 2-hour divergence here? No, right? Or sorry. 2-hour divergence at the high right now. My apologies. 30-minute divergence at the top, sorry. Do we see a 2-hour divergence here? No. So if that 2-hour rotates up, we can see some kind of trap form. We could see it go ballistic, right? Right as people are starting to think bad things. But also, you have daily divergence here, suggesting that across all these highs, it's starting to get a little bit weak, and you could see a decent-sized drop here. Where would be the first point to pay attention to? Probably gap fill down towards that $29 to $30 price point, right in this low, this little area right here. You see how it coincides with this high if you pull that over. So that would be the first area to watch. If you gap below that, I'd really be paying attention to something like this 2830 level. But for the time being, do we have the signals? Well, the daily's already crossed, right? But is it a good confirmation? These are questions you need to ask yourself as you're making decisions. Is this a good confirmation? Please tell me in the chat. Do you think this is a great confirmation? Do you think it's an okay confirmation? Do you think it's a bad confirmation? This can be a very opinionated question. I'll tell you my opinion on it after I see some answers. Good morning, Lucas and the 3M Live crew. What up, Martin? How you doing? Yo, 2 things. Where's Tina and where's Martial Law? If Tina and Martial Law are in here, just say hi. We want to make sure you guys are okay. We haven't seen you guys for a while. Tina is from California. I think she got affected by the fires a little bit. So we like to check in with Tina. Martial Law is our VIX guy. So he likes to play the VIX. So we like to make sure Martial Law is doing okay. I think he said he was working or something a lot the last time he came in. The price of Bitcoin is going down so that Ryan Cohen can buy GME. That is not why Bitcoin is going down. Bitcoin is going down because someone is deciding to sell it. Bad confirmation. Okay, so we have one MK thinking this is a bad confirmation. In my mind, I would say this is a confusing or okay confirmation. You are sitting right on, if not slightly below the 9. You are crossing the MACD. You are crossing the RSI at the same time. That's all good things, right? We see the RSI pretty much crossed at the same time. We see the MACD cross down, and we're just sitting right on it. Now you're getting indecision. So what can I do? I can look at those shorter time frames and see if I decide to take something here, right? Everything is about what you do next. Everything is about your plan if it goes right or wrong. If I decide to say take a put here, short here, or something like that, right? Well, then does the 2-hour have the ability to curl up? Do I see those signals in the near price action like we did right here on the RSI? Do I see that? No, for the time being, no. So if this curls up into positive territory, we can see this. And then I would say, okay, that goes against my trade. What if silver has its moment and starts to boom? Well, you know what you would see before it booms to the upside? A 2-hour cross up. So it means, hey, be cautious if you start to get confirmation above the 5 and above the 9 here for the 2-hour chart, because that is very likely to cross above this high. And then you would be looking for that rotation back down and saying, okay, this is where things make a little bit of sense. Hopefully you do have like weekly expected moves for something like SLV. Okay. We're thinking about, and I've been playing with this. I've been trying to make a new spreadsheet and get the calculation in there. I've been thinking about doing more like, here's the indices, here's some commodities and things like that. Here's some of this. Kind of put it into categories for you. It just makes it very easy on the live show because you can see the list to your right, and this is the exact order of the list. So I am thinking about doing that, just making it so you can look at the actual indices. We can see rotations and things like that very easily that way. So we're thinking of making some changes, but things that will just add more. We're not taking anything away from Patreon, right? We're thinking of adding more to it. I mean, people are really finding it valuable. So we want to make sure that we can make it even more valuable. That's my goal the whole time, is just continue to give more and more value to people, continue to help people. Thank you to my brother for putting a little fire under my butt, and thank you for my wife for telling me, hey, make a YouTube channel. My favorite tubers for trading. Trade Brigade. I do turn him on for some background noise some mornings. I don't even think I'm subscribed to him. Elite Trading I did check out. I liked his video I watched, and FX Evolution, obviously. Now, I've never heard of Trading Titan, so I'll maybe give that a look. But I'm just looking for people who to potentially team up with in the next. It's not like right now, right? It's just people vetting, because I would really think that if mainstream media is going down the drain, then financial media might be next. Why would they let silver run when cost is in 20s to get out of ground and we need for military? That's a good point. Yeah, he's fun, isn't he, Dollars for Trading? And thanks for coming back today, Dollars for Trading. Hope you're having a good morning. I'm going to take a little coffee chug here, and then someone out there better give me a stock to look at. Figuring Out Money is someone that I shout out. He is someone who very early on, when I started to look at weekly expected moves, I started to type weekly expected moves on YouTube, and his channel popped up. And he's more on the day trader side when it comes to trading, but I really like his macro signals that he does give out. If you're looking for someone with macro signals that you can just read into, I don't think they're necessarily reasons for a trade unless you're necessarily risk to rewarding or something like that. But Figuring Out Money is very, very diligent with that macro analysis, which I really like. 21st century GME. Recently discovered Camel Finance. Yeah, there's a lot of probably good people and more bad people, I would say. So I'm not someone who looks at people's content to make a decision. I don't even look at content pretty much at all. I just like to look at it, see what I see, give my take, do what I want with my money, and then go, okay, cool. Right? I'm going to go hang with my family. And look at that. Amazon starts to reject. We start to reject off that 5-day again. But I get it. If you're too cool for me, man. No, Ta, just put the work in. The reason that, Ta, what you need to realize is I started at 0 too. Right, Ta? So the big thing for YouTube and breaking down analysis is, how are people receiving it? And are you making the changes you need to make to become less confusing? I'm sure if you go look at my first videos, they're probably very green. I'm probably a little nervous and things like that because it's a little new for me to share my ideas. And I probably didn't do the best job in the world, but did I do a good enough job for where I was to where I could make people understand little things over time? And then I can get better at producing and showing you that information efficiently, right? I think I still talk too much. You can probably see that from today. I talk too much. So I'm saying you need a year. You need a year. That's why in 5 years, hey, we might be chatting, I'm not thinking about doing this for like 5 years. But I would really pinpoint the people, like 3 people who are really helpful for you. When I was watching people's content more, when I was learning way back in the day, well, way back in the day, like not way back in the day, but as far as technical analysis goes, when I was learning a lot, when I was really in that year of I'm going to learn this crap really hard. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn what I want to do around this stuff. I'm going to do this because I lost everything back then. Not due to trading, right? That's what saved me, but due to my business, due to COVID. So yeah, I think what I'm trying to get at here is you don't necessarily want to confuse yourself with a bunch of different analysis, right? You want to find those 3 people that actually help you, I think. And learn, and I think that's a great thing, Martin. Learn to trust yourself. Once you think you have the skills, once you see it proven in some of your trades, try to trust yourself, trust your conviction. Right now, people think I'm crazy for staying in calls. This is going to curl down, and I'm still going to stay in calls. I don't care. I'm scaling into a position. I still got plenty of time. I wasn't there at the very beginning, but over the entire last year, you're more gooder than the OG, than most OGs. Hey, I really appreciate that statement, right? I'm not gonna be right all the time, but I'm just trying to be very honest and let people know, like, these people who are saying this can make you $1 million in the next 3 months. That's clickbait most of the time. Now, there are some people who look at things and they understand the algorithm. There are people who I think were decent and things like that. They're more on the fundamental side. But, you know, a lot of the time, those type of thumbnails, if you're seeing someone never takes a loss, then you probably should look for someone else. President Trump, pretty much the close today. You have a contrarian opinion versus CNBC and Seeking Alpha commenters to be long. Yep. That's how this time always goes, and people think I'm a psychopath. Why? Because everyone's bearish, and I'm like, maybe it's not as bad as it could be. We have a daily divergence that's potentially forming here. 4-hour divergence if you want to get a little tighter with it. 4-hour looks good too. Like 4 hours, what I'd really be watching right now. Just like that, Amazon is back and dropping again. We'll see if that curls down. It's hard to find people to trust on YouTube. It is. It takes time. It took me time. But I noticed that my trading didn't get better by watching 8 people. My trading started to get better when I started to learn for myself, learn from 3 people that I trusted, and then I went, okay, now I think I have the skills. I can check back in those people for clarification, for what is their opinion, right? Because I trust them at this point. Some quotes about your channel include more gooder than most OGs. Yeah, Robert. That's going to be Robert's new song. More gooder. Wow, I'm too hype. I'm too hype right now. I need to calm down. I'm having too much fun today. Who let me have fun? Hey. Aw, Cody Co. Man. Me and my wife used to watch that, dude. Very millennial of us. And now, you trust people? No. I trust a very select amount of people when it comes to financial like analysis in general. Very little. Back in the day, when I was like 23, I was scouted by all the insurance companies. They all wanted me to do this kind of stuff, right? I could have had that big job working 60 hours a week, making $400K a year. Could have had it. But I was like, nah, I like working for myself. So that's what I did. I was a freelance marketer for like 10 years. But thank you to you guys. A big shout out to you guys, right? Big shout out to you guys, because that was the goal here. I'm going to send you feedback video on your swing trade video just to ask for more exploration. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. We really like if people do take the course, come to the live show and tell us if something was confusing, if something was not as good as you think it could be. I am more than happy. And the swing trade course was something, when I put it out, I wasn't the most happy with. I was like, I just feel like I'm not hitting the points right. So I will be probably revisiting that in 2025, but keeping it at the very short and small price point, because I think swing trading is just, it's a great way for green people to get into learning. And hard to beat. Well, I think you do have to have multiple styles, right? In this case, I'm changing things, right? I'm trying to test out that new style, right? There are different kinds of markets. There are times where you just want to be long, right? And this is a daily signal that kind of says like, if this confirms and it starts to squeeze, it's kind of just like, hey, be long, right? That's what it would overall say in this area for how I look at it. If it doesn't confirm, it says don't be long. Oh yeah, feud void. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, that happens to a lot of people. The boom in 2020 caused people to search for financial content a ton, and that's where those channels just grew for no reason besides they were there and they were able to play the algorithm, and it was very easy to be right 100%. Oh boy, up up. Alrighty. But anyway, let's get back to the market. Let's look at things. Anyone seeing anything crazy that we can look at for fun? Any more Newsmax moments happening? Longer term technique, while people like Brandon Scales and teach me what to look for in the short term. And that one guy, who shouted out that one guy? I can't think of his name. I'm subscribed to him now to check him out. I like his. Very quick. It was like those little 12-minute video. That guy was pretty good. Can't remember. Thanks for the discount. All right, Taw. Thank you so much for grabbing that. Once again, Taw, look at it with a critical but also open mind, and let me know how you like it. Right? We are open to feedback all of the time. 34 years, I'm learning a new thing to do in retirement. I have never enjoyed something so much. I still suck at it, but I learn every single day. That's so awesome, Bernie. That's so awesome, Bernie. And congratulations on your longevity. 34 years. That is something to be very proud of, Bernie. And like I said, one day, Bernie, we're going to get together. I'm going to come out to your range, all right? You can't tell me you got a range and then I'm not invited. Okay, AGMH is running. Let's look at something fun for a second. AGMH, because we still got plenty of time. It is running a bit, isn't it? Now these are little speculative things, right? People are very probably like, ooh, yeah, this one would be that risk to reward type thing. I don't know if options would be the best, right? This is very difficult with these ones for options. This is that risk to reward assessment you got to have. Yeah, Bernie, it's gonna be a good time. I'll go practice this weekend with my cop buddies because I'm not very good with my AR. Honestly, I think I haven't even scoped it in yet. Bernie, what's the best range to the balance a red dot? Is it a lot of people say like what 100 or 200? Some people do 50, but you think 50, Embrew? 100 yards? I think I want to do 100. APLD. Let's check on APLD. I am down with that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that this weekend. Yeah, APLD, the only bad part is I want you to see what caused like more of a reaction. A reaction can come. You don't have to make divergences. You're doing what you need to do. You're taking back the 5. But notice when you took back the 5, how that started to fail. And then that curled up with actual divergence. So just be aware there's no 2-hour divergence here. And the last time you saw a decent move, it just gave it up. So maybe you're looking at gap fill and things like that. Or maybe you're just looking at the 30-minute and being like, hey, let's just make sure everything's okay. This is a great level to get to, and this would be a great level to consolidate right here. And then if you consolidate, hey, I think you could get up to $7. That would be pretty nice. And then that's where another consolidation or maybe that squeezing type of thing begins if you get a little lucky, right? Squeezes would be considered lucky. But at the right times, hey, sometimes the risk to reward makes sense, but I'd be paying attention to $7. It looks like some consolidation towards 640 to the gap fill at 653-ish. Looks very likely, right? Likely doesn't mean perfect, right? Likely, probable. Looks like a good area to consolidate. Actually, was that overbought at all on the 30-minute? Yeah, see how it's starting to climb to overbought? So anywhere in here would be a great place to consolidate, get that retest of the 5 as we just took it. Maybe go a little higher, maybe go gap fill, test the 5. Make sure we're not rotating down too much. Gold recent highs, I think it's a big ass trap. I genuinely think that gold right now is moving up in a way that seems like FOMOers thinking stock market. I think it's retail thinking stock market crash. And I think you're going to end up with gold. I potentially think 250 for a bigger pullback, right? More of a like a 10% corrective type thing. But that's for GLD. Looking for the best, I think you're looking for that retest if you're looking at futures 3,000. 50 yard zero is at the 50 and again at 200. Okay, so I shouldn't do 100. I mean, theirs isn't 200. I would be theirs goes up to 150. So Matthew, if I have a range that's up to 150, what would be the best to zero it in at? You think 50 is fine? 50 yards? More middle, in the middle, Embrew. More in the middle. I don't use a red dot for my pistol though, and I shoot better than all the cops. They were like, "Holy sh! I can ping it in under with only 3 seconds or what? With only 2 seconds of focus. I think it was we did 2 seconds of focus and then pull the trigger. I think I hit at 120 yards, just ding, and then I missed once at like 150, and then dinged it at 150. If your focus is so 50 and 200, in my opinion, I'll do 50. I'll give it a whirl, and we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know how it goes, Embrew. We're gonna go on Sunday. He's gonna give me a time in a moment. I could Gare hype up how bad tariffs are, then announce something less bad than expectations, then can see a short squeeze. I genuinely don't even want us to give breaks, to be honest, unless it's to a country that blatantly like we need to give a break to them because we do not produce it at all and we have no plan to produce it at home at all. Here's what I would say. You guys want to read into something, right? If we read into tariffs, what could tariffs cause? Oh, well, maybe less sales of foreign cars here in the States because what would be cheaper to buy? Domestic. So I would look at the companies that are going to make, if you like car companies, that is, I'd look at potential car companies that are going to do production in the United States. I'd be paying attention to Ford and Toyota because Toyota's already making the move. Or who? I'm not. It's mainly for like the AR is mainly for fun. I don't think I hope I never have a time where I have to break out the AR and carry it around with me. I genuinely hope that. But just in case type scenario is what I'll train for. But I'm mainly doing the AR for fun. More of the training we do is tactical setups for pistols, tactical setups for handgun, because they have all the stuff there. It's really cool. Same 0 and inch high at 150. Okay, I'm gonna screenshot some of these. I'm sure actually he has a my AR compared to the other guys is mine is let's say 4 or 5 times less expensive than the other guys, and he has all the gear, so I'm sure he can help me out with it because I've never zeroed it before. I'd love to, man. I can't wait. And then Bernie, I'm gonna look at yours and I'm gonna go make my own. I'm gonna buy a big amount of land there and make my own. Car parts are also affected by the supply chain wise by tariffs, and that's why it's important to pay attention to what's going to be produced here. I'm just choosing to be optimistic about it and say if I'm optimistic about it and we end up making those parts here at home, wouldn't that be a good thing? That means jobs for your fellow Americans. I think that's very, very good. Dubs. Ethereum, interestingly, has a 61.8 fib. Sorry, I want to read Dubs. I just caught this as it was about to go away. Fib level 3150 to the upside if anyone is brave enough to start position. Well, when you look at crypto, it has the same things. Now, the 2-hour looks like it might need to pull back at some point, but does that really? I mean, is it even overbought? Did it get to a good level? Hey, did it see that little pull down? Yeah. Did it curl back up? Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. But the big thing here is the daily divergence. And when we look at this, we go, okay, there's daily divergence here, mainly on your RSI, very flat, if not down on the MACD, but it's there on the RSI. You see that up? Okay, awesome. And then the reason we were paying attention to this is because if you look at Ethereum and things like this, you're going, okay, that has a daily rejection divergence now. It looks good. And look at the points we were paying attention to. Very, very nice, right? Now we look at other things, XRP, right? People are really looking at this guy. What does it have? Well, potential to hold up at that 117. Well, that's not technically right, but has not lost key levels. If it loses those key levels, it can get bad. Look how bad it got so fast. So, but you do see how these things are holding up. And this was the divergence you had over here. You still had daily divergence. This was closer to Bitcoin, came back down in those lows. If you turn up into positive territory, that will be considered a higher low in some fashion, which means what? We could reach up and make that higher high. Are there any other cryptos you guys are paying attention to, stock market? We have to sell our software to other countries. Check out an online ballistic calculator. Okay, we'll do, Matthew. I know there's a lot of online information about zeroing. So is crash canceled? I think you need to find out what the tariff thing is and the reaction to tariffs. You need to see how people react with their money. ADA, is that Cardano? What the? Yeah, Cardano. Let's do the Coinbase one. Again, what did we have here? Daily divergence, right? Wouldn't you like that? Now, that confirmed on the big bar, so hopefully you were looking for hints in here. But right here, we see these two lows. It's probably not going to show up on your RSI. It's not deep enough. But we're holding these points. We're going down into those lows. We're potentially making a higher low. Right? This is almost like a right shoulder that could have been as well. Right? We see that we got really aggressive here. And we really wanted to probably make that structure before seeing the big move. So this is kind of worrisome when you see that because it immediately was sold off. But hey, funky things happen with crypto. If this daily does confirm up and it's able to go positive, it breaks through this. Hey, this could be that right shoulder that could have been kind of scenario. It's not perfect. It's not great. That's why I don't really pay attention to patterns, but I can understand how this would move based on, hey, we saw too big of a move too fast. We might have wanted to see a pullback in these areas, and now you have overall pulled back from those areas. And you got to see, hey, are we keeping this above these levels? That was fish. That was crazy. Once again, daily divergence right before, just hard to catch because it was so sporadic. So you're looking for, hey, does it curl up right here? You know? And then there's risk to reward. It can go wrong. We're not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, it's 100% signal. I already scared you guys with that once. I don't want to have to do it again. You only lose when you sell. Hey, survivability, right, Brian? Right? The only way that you can guarantee yourself to miss out on GME is by not holding GME. But the only way to guarantee yourself to not lose money in GME as well is to not own GME. Isn't that interesting? After I get some pumpage, they'll probably pump a little bit together. This looks like a everything squeeze, which kind of leans towards blow off top. Where's Dave? Where's our buddy Dave? Yeah, that's what kind of sucks, Brian. Sometimes they're more cyclical and like Bitcoin sees a big move, drops, then the market sees the big move and drops. While Bitcoin's trying to base out. Sometimes you kind of follow that around when people are more risky. They like to take that big risk first. Dave's not here. Dave, man. Short Fridays, how you doing this much? Short Fridays, give me a stock. I want to look at something for you. Short Fridays always has some fun ones. Are you still looking at Nike? How's Nike doing? Look at that memory coming in. This was 2 hour now. Oh, 2 hour divergence is there. Were you paying attention? We'll look at IonQ. I'm down. That was bad. This is not good to lose this. You want to take this back this week. This means the daily scale can turn up in our little buy zone here. I'm in TTWO, and then we'll go look at IonQ. I don't mind Nike. Oh, okay. So IonQ, I don't like this, but this is something you see potentially before a big move, actually, is just a very bad signal fails. So really pay attention if this starts to fail. That is a bad signal. This really says, like, hey, we're at least going to go fill this gap. That's what the daily scale is saying right now. But look at the price action. So let's go into a 2-hour chart. Let's see if this is by the center line. Okay, so what should we be watching out for here? This has potential to rip through this, maybe retest and see it keep going. But what if we do this? What if we see a big move like this and then we just fall and you see a divergence pop up, right? It means that would potentially be my plan for if a big upside move is going wrong. That's how I'd look at it. But I think this looks really good as far as just holding sideways overall. Yeah, I think you're paying attention to the right thing. This is where it can boom, and then watch out for if it starts to bust, right? If the boom starts to go bam, and then it just goes like that, just watch out if you start to see things like this, if it's really close to the center line. But, that might not even be what your plan is for the trade. So that's just how I see it. If a 2-hour divergence pops up here and there's some kind of trap up here, that's what I would watch out for. But as far as sideways, holding sideways, and curling up into positive, it looks really good. But we just confirmed daily divergence, so you're going to have to wipe that out for this to be really, really good. You don't want to just see that 2-hour move and then fall. That's all. But the way that you're doing this, you didn't go bam, bam, or bam, 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 and then just fall off a cliff just yet. And the 2-hour rotates up. You might have more time here, and that means, hey, there's always potential for crazy positivity. IonQ. Maybe my dad's watching this morning. Maybe the only thing I don't like about IonQ is the flagging. It really looks controlled still. I want it to get uncontrolled. The daily scale being able to turn up, that's great. And overall, this isn't a terrible thing, right? You see flagging and you immediately go, oh, this is going to break down. It doesn't have to. It can. But if you look at this 2-hour and you see that's curling up right now, this is the opportunity to really get out of this lackluster thing that's going on. And it's been pretty volatile, I would say. So you really want to break through this and see that strong move. And it's at the perfect level. So weirdly enough, with the flagging, this 2-hour crossing up, that means it's leaning towards the bull side. And if you start to take out this level and hold it, that's going to be a big deal. It looks like we have marked off 33.99, but I would still be paying close attention to, let's say, yeah, that high. You got to get above that. So let's take the top level here and look for the next point. It looks like this, 29. You get through 29, I think you're pretty set on 33.99. If you can see a really big move, then you're probably getting back up into this cluster up here. Watch for rejection at breakdown areas, right? I'm not going to say that I'm like really negative on IonQ. I think IonQ will see its day. But if this daily rotates down, that's where you're cautious. And then you go, hey, thanks for the investment levels again, right? It's not horrible. It's an actual split that would freak me. It might, but I mean, the thing is, you can watch. Wait, is IonQ splitting? Big guy here. SPC, 100 space shares. Oh, okay, so they're splitting SPC. Sorry. I'm also buying DJT calls for if Trump is. I actually think DJT that risk to reward for this type of play is there. Based on I think it's 30-minute chart right now. It doesn't look the most smooth, that's for sure. But you're noticing down at the lows, what do you get? That's across the board for all these stocks. Your 4-hour is giving you the divergence points, right? Now, these you could say, hey, these aren't perfect divergences, whatever, but it's a 4-hour really, really close to the center line. That means if this crosses up, it can actually go positive, which means you can see a stronger move than this one. You want to watch out if that goes wrong, right? It can always go wrong, but the percentages, if this 4-hour would remain curled up, would be take out this high. Start to go up actually on the daily scale, maybe even curl up a weekly chart. Look where the weekly is. It's right by that center line. What happened the last time the weekly chart was able to curl up? Boom to the upside, solid move to the upside, and continuation. Very nice. Even if you took it on that weekly confirmation, potential for 100%. So I think risk to reward, good look. We'll see if it can continue to be a good look. Make sure it's not going wrong. Meta's partnering with the UFC. Very nice. Meta's 2-hour trying to curl up, but once again, 4-hour charts are going to be very, very nice here to just get a slightly early, I would say, I guess slightly early potential, more risky, but slightly early confirmation of, are these things going to see the big daily move? I still think 4-hour charts can be trustworthy just because they're big bars, right? They're big amount of time. So I'd be really just watching 4-hour charts a lot. I could literally just stare and be sitting around waiting for this 4-hour chart all for the last week, not doing anything with my money, see it go like this, and go, all right, I'm ready to trade. Oh, that's going wrong. Okay, I'm out of the trade. Oh, it's going right again. Okay, I'm back in. And now, maybe that's the style you like. Right now, I'm choosing to be more position style, more hold on to things and scale into positions. SPCE, let's go look at that. Thank you guys for shouting out a few stocks to go look at. This is going to be daily divergence. Yeah, daily divergence is there. This looks fan-freaking-tastic. It's just, it looks really good from a divergence perspective. It looks awful from a price point perspective. It is going down, down, and the trend perspective, right? It's very down, down, down. But you're finally seeing a good signal. Has it confirmed? No, it is forming, all right? So if the daily can confirm up, that'd be great. Do I get any hints? No hints and a very deep MACD. Notice that the last pop, this one, what did you have? You had divergence on the RSI, flat divergence on the MACD. So that could happen again, but we have a big news event. So I'd also be aware if that daily confirms up, you can take out these levels and potentially build that thing back to like 550. Well, the chart stops scoping those 3 a.m. candles. 1 minute, you'll see patterns with those candles. That's pretty much the only time. Yeah, some people use 30-minute charts with like minute or 5-minute charts. I do that. I use 5-minute charts with 30-minute charts too. Every once in a while. Usually I'm looking at bear market at that time though. Usually bear market, if you really want to see, if you only have a 30-minute signal and you're like, man, is that going to confirm? And you're like, buy a monthly expected move or a weekly expected move. I look at 5-minute charts to start scaling into those positions at the lower prices. I don't usually encourage new people to do that. I think it takes some skill to understand like this in emotional maintenance, right? Control. You're going to have to understand that 5-minute charts do crazy things. So it's very tight and it's very risk to reward on a 5-minute chart potential for using it for a 30-minute trade there. Does UNH look like? United Health? 2-hour. Yeah, that's not looking healthy. That's looking like confirmation that the daily needs to pull down. So this is a right shoulder that could have been kind of scenario, but you went to fill the gap. So there was a goal potential here. This is still a great level to get to. I think you just wanted to consolidate so you could break through all of this. But this is still a great level to get to. We see it get to that gap fill. We see it get up to that point. Do you get that to make a higher low to curl up again? And your 2-hour is saying that most likely a pullback is coming for the daily chart, right? Because it was 2-hour. Yeah. Now, this can continue. 2-hour can just keep curling up, right? But we'll see. Pullback seems very likely, very, very gradual, very nice. But you notice this was kind of gradual, few sporadic moments, very gradual, and then failed. So just be aware things can fail. You do have a 2-hour divergence. Up here, what did you have? 2-hour divergence. You made another one. See how it was complex? You have a triple one. So Project Rocket. I did see that. What does that even like mean, short price? I didn't read into it. I just saw it this morning. Project Rocket. I saw some post about it. I just wanted you to maybe give your take. But yeah, this looks like daily pullback can come. It doesn't have to be awful, right? Now, it could be because this is a pretty damn good move. So I'd be really watching like right in here. Look at these highs, that resistance that came in. Use these wicks, right? Look at this. Okay, we tried to gap up from there, went and filled it, then came back up. So this level is probably very important. $500. Look at that. Another reason it's important, a flat number that people could gravitate to. So you could do something like this and then curl up. You could remain here for a while and then curl up. You could just do this and curl up, right? That's why shorting something that's just seen a great move like this is very difficult. It's higher up in this area than over here. So it has more probable, It has more probabilities towards, hey, a pullback is more likely than right over here. And we don't even have the serious, I would say, 2-hour divergence. Look how significant that is. Hey, it's pretty significant, but it's a little tighter this time. Hey, it's pretty significant, but it's a little tighter this time. So this can just resolve itself. If you're lucky, get a 2-hour divergence, and bam, that would be very nice for United Health. So daily pullback is the most likely. Doesn't mean it can't curl down and see that curl down and make another divergence point. If we do break through this level, 500, I'd be looking for 485. That wick right here. You see that little wick I'm finding? That right there is what I'd pay attention to next. GME called. Yeah, what is that short Fridays, though? Help me out with that. GME, what if this confirms at the end of the week? You guys, the crazy move for GME is probably going to happen on a Monday or Tuesday. I'm watching this like a hawk right now. I'm already in it because I was like, I think it's an overreaction. I'm going to risk to reward this for 2 months. So I literally took this low right as we went down to the weekly expected move. And I said, all right, 21. Okay, cool. I'm going to buy that. That's what I said. I'm going to risk to reward it. I don't think it's as bad as it really seems. People are finding Tesla's overvalued. Bro, Tesla, maybe it's probably still overvalued at these, but you'd have to say that about every stock. This, if you, I don't know if overvalued is the right statement to be saying when it's already experienced a massive drop and some people didn't think it was overvalued at 480, right? I want you to really understand that Tesla has crashed. So, when a crash actually happens, are you going to even be aware of opportunity? Because Tesla has crashed. It can crash further. But if it holds up here and just curls up on a 2-hour, it's going to look great. And if you thought Tesla was good at 400, good at 450, why is it bad at 260? Just trying to give you a different perspective, okay, Jay? Say maybe I'm playing a little devil's advocate, See, Tesla's going to 150. Tariff's about to hurt it big time. Hey, we'll see if you're right, but it did make a base here. So the charts aren't necessarily agreeing with you. The chart is still in positive territory. It's not agreeing with you right now. It's saying, yeah, we're just pulling back. We went to a great level. We're consolidating, almost like a cup and handle potential. I'm just giving you how I see it. All right, Jay Say? I have no ill will towards Tesla. I have no serious, I love Tesla. If I did, I would buy a Tesla. I don't. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. It just doesn't make sense for what we're seeing right now. Now, I would say this, Jay, if the daily starts to confirm down, yeah, I would look for lower levels, but I'd just be paying attention like 213 and then 180.92. Like those are, like that's how I see it. I'm going to delete some lines here, by the way, our previous lines. I don't think that one's important. That one's not important anymore. This one, see, he could be totally right. This could be a retest and that could crash. It's already down 55% though from that high. So I just, in crash it, because this is I'll give you an example, Jay, and it's nothing. Yeah, exactly, Jay. We have no idea. At the end of the day, we're not mind readers. But let me tell you something, Jay. I'm going to tell you a little story that I've said before, and I'm sure people are annoyed with probably hearing it, but my brother's an MLO. And I give him information about rates to help out him and his clients just for free. I just do it because he's my brother, right? Someone with rates, watch this. Here, we'll pull up rates too, right? To show you guys. Okay, so he has a client and they say, I would be very, very happy not to have the rate here, but just here, right? I don't want to buy the house at this rate. I know this isn't mortgage rates, but I would be happy anywhere in here. And then it gets to actually they do it here. They say, I would be happy with it here. This is how their mental works, right? They say, I would be happy with it here. And they go, okay, because it's really high. I just want that to come off a bit. I'm willing to wait to see if it does. Then it does. And they say, this is where I'm comfortable with that rate. But once it's actually there, do you know what they start saying? I want to wait because it could go lower. I want to wait because it could go lower. I want to wait because it could go lower. Then it starts to turn around and it starts to go up. And then do you know what happens? They end up taking the house here and they buy that rate. That happens all the time. And my brother sits there and he goes, you know, you were comfortable with this rate, or you were comfortable with this rate. You wanted to see if it came down a little bit more. It did. And now you're really comfortable with that rate. It's even better for you. And now you're saying you want to wait longer. Yeah, it could go lower. He's like, but Sam go, you know, but it could go higher. And they go, no, I'm going to wait. Then it does this. They look back a little bit later and they go, oh, shoot, I really need the house. Okay, take it before it goes any higher. And then they think they made a good decision. And then it goes higher. And they go, yeah, woo, yeah. Then they go, oh, thank God. I knew these rates would pop off. And then later on, they see that rates are way down at those levels again, and they go, shit. That's literally how the mentality works with that. And why I'm saying that is because that's a serious mentality of something like Tesla. It can go lower, but it's already down 55%. Right? That's all I'm getting at. And at the end of the day, you are totally right. We're not prophets. We're not JC. We don't know the future, but we can read into things and see what a good potential decision for myself is and what a bad decision would be. And once you actually understand what a good and bad decision is, you start to be less like that guy chasing a better rate instead of just being like, this is what you said you were very comfortable with. Does that kind of push through, Jay? Say, I'm just trying to, get that brain, that our brain's working. I think it's good to continue to talk about other things. Can you check out ACHR? Yeah, Joseph, I can check out that for you for a second. ACHR. Well, if you expected today to be absolutely insane, there's a big data thing coming out at the end. He said, we ain't JC. Thank you so much, Joseph, for the $4.99. ACHR, very similar to a lot of things going on right now. Coming down into the lows, not necessarily sweeping the low yet, but if that would confirm up, that would be good. It'll be difficult to hold this divergence point. It's a little close for my liking, but maybe you see it flat. So the reason I'm talking about making the divergence point is just because the 2-hour looks like it's pretty deep here. All right, and the last time you saw this bounce, what did you have? 2-hour divergence. So you're kind of like, hey, this could see that V shape and curl up on the daily. I want to be ready to react to that. But the other thing is, what if it's going to be more complex? What if we curl up like this and then get that double dip kind of moment to sweep both of these lows, and then we see a 2-hour divergence? So I would more so be like, yeah, something big can happen. If the daily scale turns up, that's a good sign. But I want to be aware that this is what happened last time, and so this might have to happen right here. All right, that's what I'd really look into. I'm looking for the weakness in momentum. Do you see that from the 30-minute? It looks like it a little bit, but I don't usually like, this is more like squeezing to the downside type thing. So it's very hard to be like, yeah, I'm going to take calls right now. I would like to see the 5 taken back, and then maybe a better decision could be made. Does that help you? That's how I see it with that one. So daily, look for that. If that doesn't happen, look for the 2-hour complexity, right? Look for the 2-hour divergence to sweep this low. That would be very interesting because you're not holding those points on the RSI. You can notice it's very deep. So this could have some more time. If it V-shapes, you're looking at the daily chart. Very nice. The other one was ONDS. 2-hour pullback looks likely. 30-minute. Yeah, you're starting to make those 30-minute divergences. You see plainly here. What's this MACD looking like? See, it's not on the MACD, so this could break through, weirdly enough, on the 30-minute still. 30-minute crosses up, that'd be good. It just might make it a trap. So be aware of traps, right? If that happens, just watch out for these things. That can be a signal that goes wrong. I don't know how tight you're looking at options or buying the stock, whatever. 2-hour really looks like it needs a pullback, though. So where would we look for pullback? Probably in here. You see this wick? You might not even get that pullback. You see how this wick went down to pretty much the closing of these little 2-hour bars. So I really like that level. I think that's great, right around 89.895 cents. Daily scale, though, is curling up. So this one's a little bit more risk to reward at the low, I would say. Did you have a signal at the low? You actually had a really good curl up right here. So I can see what you're thinking, and the daily scale is pretty important here. You want to see if that can go positive. That'd be great. I would just watch out for little things that can curl down. Right now, 2-hour pullback seems likely, and then see if that can turn back up. But the 30-minute could still just get going right now. So there's a lot of different things going. You see how different this is than the last one. There's a lot more difficult things. Different things makes it more difficult, right? If there's more things to look at, it becomes more difficult. And so this is where your decision making is going to just have to be probably conviction and looking at this from the perspective of how you would like to trade it. Look at it from the investment perspective, the shorter time perspective. It's going to be wildly different. I actually haven't not Navin. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's all Jay say. I'm just trying to open that mind because you seemed very like 150 is definitely going to happen because of the tariffs. I'm just trying to put the what if it doesn't in your mind. Not saying, oh, that has to make me do anything. I'm just saying, yeah, let's just take a deep breath and be like, but if this curls up, is that technically momentum turning up? Did a rich guy just buy into this? That's all. I respect your opinion, Jay Say, and I appreciate you putting it out there. And I just wanted to give you that little devil's advocate and tell you a little story to kind of back it up. So yeah, ON's a little bit more complex there, Joseph. I think I like ACHR more. It seems easier to read right now. Doesn't mean ONs can't be a great opportunity, but I would look at it for that. Is it an opportunity on an investment? Do I really want to do an option with a dollar stock? You know, that kind of thing. I don't even know if it has options. Oh, you said thank you. Thank you, Joseph. Appreciate you, buddy. I can send a link. Let's see if I can go into the chat here and find that. I can't remember if I allowed links or not. I think when I allowed links on my live stream one day, and we actually had like, I think it was early on. We actually, like early on, we had like 150 viewers or early on. So that was great. Now people kind of come and go, which is awesome too, right? Come in and get your, your second opinion. But we had spammers come in and post a bunch of crypto BS, and I didn't like that. I think it stagnates to the right and up before realizing the reality and returning to correction phase, September, October. But that's just my gut talking. Hey, that's fine. As someone who likes Elon and rooting for Tesla, I really want one of their androids. Like what Tesla can't go below 100. That's all I know for sure, Angus. Tesla bears will forever be missing the market. Tesla's a very volatile stock. If I was someone who is trading and didn't want to trade with options because it's risky, I would look at Tesla. I would look at Tesla and be like, that thing rips. As far as it has really high IV, and it likes that buying regular shares. So we'll see. So I feel you on that. You're stuck with me for life. Trust your gut, not your brain. Well, your brain is what tells you to get emotional, right? So, kind of. Sometimes your gut can get it wrong, right? I would say before you make a decision, just take a few deep breaths, analyze again, treat it like you're not even going to put money behind it. Just like maybe treat it like this. Treat it like you're making a YouTube video and you're just, you're someone online is asking you to look at a stock and then see what you think. Just kind of treat it like I'm going to look at this as if I'm someone who's just analyzing the stock and I'm not interested in buying or selling it. And then see what you come up with and write it down. Right? Look at it from almost a third party type of lens. And then write it down and then go back to that first person lens and read what you wrote and be like, does that make sense? Okay. Do you think Greg on X is Roaring Kitty? The GameStop tweet the GameStop April Fools made me kind of go like, maybe. Or he's just like an inside guy at GameStop that trolls and stuff. Your spirit is in your gut, not your brain. Hey, that's dope. I kind of like that. Swivel stick. Oh my god. Got the feels. And I pulled out 100% the week before the correction. Woo! All green and am dollar cost averaging back in. Saved 25 to 400K loss. Damn. Dude. We gotta say congratulations for that. That is insanely cool. That is awesome to hear. Just a good decision that looked like potentially a bad decision at first, right? You said it went higher first. It wasn't the exact top, but ended up looking back, you go, in hindsight, you go, great decision. But at the time, it was a good decision for you, even if it did go up. That's very cool, man. That's so cool. Is the buying slowing down? I think the buying will be slow all day until probably the end of the day. I mean, we could see like one sporadic move. 30 minutes not positive by any means. Let's look at the Qs. Qs aren't even close to taking back their 5 just yet. It's coming down, but let's look at it from a daily scale. Yeah, you're sitting like right on your 5. Right on your 5. Trying to take it right now. We'll see if that happens, right? 2-hour bar, right? We should be looking at this for the next 30 minutes. And then I'll have to hop off, guys, okay? So I'll watch this 2-hour bar with you. That looks pretty damn good. You know what this is? That would be a good confirmation. That doesn't mean it can't fail. Confidence and patience is slowly building up. Make sure confidence doesn't get into overconfidence, right? Try to keep that. That's that little 5% of you that should always be like, I could be wrong. And that's it. Confidence is great. Conviction is a good thing, right? But being over that, over, that's where you start to go, It's kind of like, I'm confident that I can lift 225 pounds on bench once. So am I going to put 250 on and be super confident that I can do that? Because I'm super strong. I got big muscles. And then I dislocate my shoulder and I can't work out for the next 6 months. Right? That little game is kind of what I'm talking about. Better get a spotter. No, I used to lift 225 like 5 times by myself, and it was scary at the last 2, so I started to have my buddy come with me, but I don't lift that heavy anymore at all. I used to do 315. Oh, now we're all going to show. Now, everyone, who's the buffest in chat? Who's got the best bench in chat? Oh, God. Yeah, who's, but I got 285. I don't know why that's how I'm reading it. Imagine Trey's journey. Oh my god, dude, don't even get me started on that guy. I read into that guy, and if what people are saying about him is true, I think that is so scummy. I appreciate him coming and making a video, but I think that the video quality is really bad, and I actually did a bunch of research on him because I'm a nerd and I like to investigate. I like to investigate those things. And I'm like, you're saying that you made millions of dollars and now you have nothing, but then at the same time, why is your filming in a bad way? I was like, oh, maybe he always filmed this way. No, he was always perfect with the lighting and all that stuff. The funnier thing for me with Trey's trades is right before he made that big mistake and wiped out all of his videos, the video that he left up on his platform was literally discussing how he doesn't want to hold things too long because he could lose everything, and the danger of trying to make money back. And that's how he lost his money potentially. But I'm not going to hate on someone that I don't know. I just read what potentially happened, and I don't know 100% if it did, but if it did, I think he should go to jail, personally. I think people should go to jail for that, genuinely, if you get caught doing it. How the hell did Tesla rebound after all those awful delivery numbers? Hey, sometimes bad news is good news. He told people to diamond hand AMC, then put options on it. It's not that part, Jay say. The part that I think was bad was apparently, and this is why the videos are deleted, and this is kind of sketchy, he apparently he was telling people he was diamond handing at very high levels for GME or AMC, and he actually was selling to them the whole time. When you're telling people what to do, that is your channel. You are telling them what to do, and you blatantly lie to them, and then a bunch of people lose a lot. That is definitely you should you should go to jail. You go to jail, straight to jail. Polar man used to bench 390. Jesus, when I was 185 in high school. Okay, now I feel like a little biatch. My pecs were bigger than my girl's C's. If you just want to have bigger pecs than your girl, like just go for a flat chest, you know? Oh wait, we're not Rumble. We can't have these talks. No. That's crazy though. 390. I could never imagine. The highest weight I've ever lifted in any lift was I think 325 or 335 on deadlift. And my big football bros were with me. My big tall football dudes were with me, and they were like, "Holy sh!" And I was like, "Hey, can I try that?" That's all that happened. They had their weight on there, and I go, "Can I try it?" I used to date a girl that was 390. You guys are messed up. We're talking about stocks today. I know we're talking about lifting because when a man brings up his bench, you notice this, like women in the chat, if we have any women in the chat, I said one thing about bench, and look at all the dudes be like, yeah, I bench 315. I love it. I think it's so funny, guys. I love us, man. Bros being bros. Let's discuss the meaning of life. Water. Weirdly enough. I immediately chimed in. Food, gym, stocks, women, facts. You can live for a long time on just water. I'm the stronger man. Oh, I love it. Okay, let's really watch this though. 28 minutes, and we could get a confirmation of this 2-hour chart. Does that mean that all the risk goes away, or can this all be a trick and the 30-minute turns down? I kind of want to look at a 15-minute chart. I know I don't do that very often, but if you look at the 15-minute, you're starting to see potential for what? Oh no, it's getting close to that double top look. Okay, so we're going to watch this for the next 30 minutes here, see if this starts to fail. Don't do cardio, you'll lose muscle. I'm not, yeah, I like 185 for myself. 180 is good, but I'm only at 170 right now, and I'm not doing cardio. I'm just a dad. My friends used to call me Big Booty Lucas because I was a soccer player and I had huge booty. And then I became a dad, and now I'm Saggy Booty Lucas. Don't bring it up. The dudeliest of dudes duding around. I like it. What the fuck just got AMC email? Free movies for a year. Stocks going to plummet. What? You got free movies for a year? Playtime with kids is cardio. Think about that. Oh, that's facts, dude. My arms are actually like not weights jacked, but baby jacked. You ever just like hold 20 pounds? You try holding 20 pounds in one arm for an hour. That's what happens. For a purchased in calls. I just go with the cheapest gym around me, man. Weights are weights. My buddies think I'm weird for not paying $80 for the best gym, and I'm like, why would I do that? Oh my gosh, yeah. The old 20 minutes, switch the arm, 20 minutes, switch. It's like sets. It's crazy. That's legit. I just got it. Did I get it? Why aren't they giving me free movies? I want free movies. What? No free movies? Hey, Cole, thanks so much for joining the Patreon. Make sure to get those weekly and monthly expected moves. Make sure to scroll down a little bit to get the monthly expected moves, okay? It should say April 2025. Damn, I didn't get an email. Why are you lucky? I want to go see movies. I don't even have time to go see movies. I have dumbbells right next to me. I just have my my bands for my shoulder rehab next to me. You guys who joined on Rumble probably saw that, or I don't know if you saw it, heard that. I was like, I got to do some rehab here for a bit. I didn't get the email either. I'm filing a complaint. I think all of us should file a complaint with AMC and complain that Richard got. Our friend Richard got this email saying he got free movies and we didn't. Hey, Rumble's not half bad. I like Rumble. We do that for the afternoon stream. If you guys want to join us on Rumble, the link should be down there in the description as well. I know we have a bunch of links down there right now, and I'm telling you to click on everything. You know, it's annoying, but if you want to join us for the Power Hour stream, you got to join us over on Rumble. It's nice. No real spammers or anything. GG, I'm single now, overpaying for the gym in a dating app. Oh, damn. Wait, you're paying for the dating app? Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I used to make fun of people for paying for dating apps. I was like, it's free. How much are you swiping? I think my buddy used to pay for the dating app for a month when he was about to go on vacation so he could match with chicks in the area before he got there in college. The gym is the dating app. We like to hear that, GG's. I read into it wrong. I'm sorry about that, buddy. Dating apps have MMR. Dating apps have RNG. Oh God, I never thought that we would be talking about this morning, but we're having fun. I think it's good that people are in good spirits. I think all the girls of the chat are just like, we're not talking at all. We're like, nope, this is dudes being dudes. We don't like that. Girls, make fun of us. Just one girl has to come in and be like, I can lift more than all of you guys. And I'll be like, hell yeah. I love that. It's very ingenious of your friend. Well, that's priorities being in the wrong places, dollars for trading. If you're, and that's college. That's your early 20s. As a guy, I think. But if you're doing that now, if I was doing that at 30, I'm 32, about to be 33. If I was doing that at 33, it'd be kind of sad in my mind. Are there even any girls in this chat? Probably not. Dudes being dudes for dudes. All right, we got to get back to stocks at some point, though, guys. I know Rumble, we really get to other topics and have fun with it on Rumble because we know, because on Rumble, we just point out that, the last part of the day can be pretty boring and until the last 5 minutes, right? The last 5 minutes, 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 the last 5 minutes. So on Rumble, we kind of have fun with it if you want to join over there. But we mainly just pay attention to, we'll still be watching the charts and stop being hooligans, but if something happens, but it's been the last 5 minutes of every day. Llama Mama in the house. Llama Mama, I miss you. I missed you for a second there. I caught myself calling my wife Llama Mama a few times, and I was like, wait, this is weird. I can't do that. Tesla bears buying puts, losing badly with their 0DTE. Yeah, 0DTE on Tesla is very rough. IV crush. All it has to do is sit there. EA Sports. It's in the game. I also love this whole be free movement. Ladies coming to the gym dressed for a shower. Shut up, Richard. Oh, God. Okay, so one thing to just be aware of. Let's get back to this for a second here. We can continue to have fun. I'm perfectly fine with that. Let's keep it nice. Keep it good. Dudes being respectful dudes, okay? Here we go. Bam. Right there. The reason we're watching this right now is this some kind of thing to head to the upside very quickly? Or is this some kind of double top, right? We see the 15-minute. If the 15-minute rotates down, that would suggest we could get to that daily expected move would be very probable. No confirmation of down yet, so don't let something that's forming scare you. It's a 15-minute chart, all right? Let's not overreact. Unless you have like 0DTE, then I don't know about that. Come on, man! All day stream. This is epic. It's a great chat today. Thank you guys for being very very fun in the chat today. Right, we're still treating this very seriously, but at the same time, I think it's okay to have fun. Talk about some other stuff. Are we green to Trump save us? Not yet. You don't even know, right? Next level. We don't even know what's going to be said, but he is calling it. What's the phrasing? What's he calling it? Liberation Day. I have no idea what he means by that until we see the news. But apparently it's going to be Liberation Day where we start to see Made in America stickers on our clothes. That'd be sick. I don't even know what that really would mean until we see the news. We'll have to see. I'll probably watch it. But I got to do some things right after the closing stream today. A few little cleanup things to do outside. What will the retaliate? Ooh, Mike, I like that. You're keeping us in check. I like it. What will the retaliation be? Or maybe just what will the reaction be? Right? Now, do we care about the reaction of little Twitter people? Or do we care about the reaction of the price of how these things are going to move? Does it go up? Does it go down? Does it do this? Does it do that? I'm Canadian. Hey, that's cool. What's up, Mike? We don't hate we don't hate on Canadians. Nobody should. Do you like Trudeau? You should cover it. It's at 11. Wait, it's at 11. We love America too. Hey, that's great, Mike. We show you love right back, buddy. Even if someone hates me, I can still love them back. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. There's too much hate. There's a very good song that I've been listening to. If you want to listen to it with yourself right now, if you have some time to listen to a song, it's Limp Bizkit, I'm pretty sure. I gotta look what the song is. I don't remember song names. Ah, frickin' A. It's not Nookie, you guys. Don't get it twisted. Is this one it? Okay, I need to go to this artist or else it's gonna not show up for me. There's a song that says a very good phrasing. Oh, and I just saw Tall. I saw your video pop up on my feed. That's good. I'll try to click on it. Clicking, if you guys want to help out people who are early on trying to put themselves out there, trying to learn how the best to give out analysis and things like that, and if you think they're helpful in some way, clicking on their video in your main feed is very good for the YouTube algorithm if you are looking for things like that. And watch time. Okay, where the heck is my music? Oh, look at the SPY. Watch this 15-minute, guys. A 2-hour can confirm, you can still make a divergence, and you can still turn down and have that 2-hour maybe not even unconfirm, but still turn down to lower levels. Okay, well, I'm just not going to find it. Yo, what is up with my feed is like completely changed. Oh, I'm not on the right freaking account. That's why. I'm watching the live stream over there for polls and stuff. How'd that poll go? Let's end that poll. End poll. Oh yeah, I'll look at AMD in just a moment, Mark. Give me 2 seconds over here. I can find it now very quickly. Okay, that's that. Damn, fucking tunage is going hard. Okay, what's this girl name? Yeah, that's it. Take a look around. That was it the whole time. I just want to make sure. Take a look around, listen to it, and you'll hear a very key line about hate. And I love it. All right, let's go look at this for AMD. AMD, super flat. Very very risky for the 30-minute to remain super flat as you're getting to the 5-day moving average. And as far as AMD goes, you're not necessarily at a bottom side weekly expected move. So that means we could see a 30-minute move down here and create the divergence point for real, right? A lot of people might consider this some type of rejection divergence. I like to see it at the same time. It still would be great. And you can still pay attention if, like, 2 hours confirm up. That's different, right? You're taking back the 5. But if the 30-minute is going to reject here and curl down, you're still negative. So you can see lower prices, and a weekly expected move is what can be down here to help you out. So it looks like, to me, I'd be paying attention from 97, probably 98 to 95, and looking anywhere in there for, do we get confirmation of divergence, right? That'd be very, very nice. So what you're really looking for this to turn around is, if you want the 2 hour to curl up, which you do if you're bullish, well, then you would see that maybe come down, if that curls down, that is, and then see that turn back up, right? And then you want to make sure something like that, whoop, wrong drawing. You want to make sure something like this is showing up, and look for it to be on the MACD and RSI at the same time. That's the best type. Because hate is all the world has even seen lately. What do you see on Twitter every day? Hate. All day, every day, it feels like. It looks like 4 hour, hopefully that was helpful. That's the main thing I see here. The daily scale, if that crosses down, you can see it get worse, right? That could curl down today, and that would be like, ooh, we're going to cut this low. That would be bad, right? But you still have a way to turn around. I'm not leaning towards that at this point, but I'm aware of it. I think we got to a great level. Yeah, we're dipping down pretty deep, but overall, bam, let's go. We already pulled it up, and this is the golden pocket right there. Everything happens for a reason. What's Marco doing? Let me see Marco. Let me go read it. I have 101 puts on AMD. Well, then you really want this 30-minute to curl over. And I would say if this 2 hour curls up, you gotta start to think like, hey, what's my plan for if a trade's going wrong, right? It can still go right after that, but it's just, it starts to become more risky that, hey, the 2 hours confirming up, the 2 hours taking back the 5, the 2 hours going to start to go up to potentially 107.10, if not all the way to gap fill. But 30-minute, if you really want this to go down and see some profit there, well, then you need this 30-minute to reject here. Potentially. Sorry, Gavin. Was it? I don't know if I'm reading into that correctly, Gavin. Maybe my brain's just was in a different spot. But if you want to explain a little bit, I'm down. Hello, GME. GME is daily chart for sure. Daily chart curls up, you're happy about it, right? And it can fail, but if the daily chart curls up, it's looking pretty good. So, Lottery Stocks thinks he broke the algorithm and we're going to do this. Maybe. It's possible. We could see a crash here. That would potentially crash GME. But if this confirms up, hey, that's going to take you through this. That'd be great. It's just daily. If it doesn't confirm, there's no positivity to really be had, but I'm risk to reward in that bad boy for 2 months. I see what you're saying, Gob. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I try to keep it very simple there. You need daily momentum to see big things if that's what you're going for. I haven't heard anything about retaliation, at least. Okay, of course they could be sitting on it. Well, I think we've seen retaliation in the form of like hating on it, right? That is a retaliation in some way, right? Get people super negative on it. And then I'm just sitting here going, maybe it's not as negative as these people are saying. I'm choosing to be optimistic because of what I see in the charts. Really, charts can help you dictate whether something is going to be seen as good or bad in the future, right? Remember when we called Donald Trump the assassination attempt with like 3 days to it? I think you can go back to the live show if you want to go see it. I was like, this is really bad. Me and my buddy were talking about it like 6 months ago. This is the timing I think it would happen. Biden just had a terrible time. They're going to potentially switch it out for someone else. This would be the time to do it. Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, looking back, you're like, okay, we were lucky, right? You're lucky in calling something like that. But yeah, it's kind of like, hey, this is a bad signal. Something bad is coming, right? It's just looking in hindsight, you can actually clarify if that was actually true, right? Something bad is coming, something bad came. Something bad is coming, something bad came. But sometimes it's something bad is coming, right? Something bad is coming. Oh, wait, no, it's not. Okay, yeah, this is really bad. No, set something good. You just want to be able to switch back and forth. That's why we talk about trading like water. I think that the DAX is a good signal for what's going to happen here, right? I think the DAX, if this is able to turn up, this is the first point we still pay attention. But if the DAX is going to come down dramatically, or at least a little bit more corrective than what it is right now, this would be a signal of other markets, right? Why was I able to put out and tell my friends who were talking about the election, why was I able to be like, yeah, Donald Trump won? Well, because I saw the other markets in other countries start to go down, and I saw everything in our country start to go up. The stock market told me something, and I said, are they going to be wanting to invest in the United States when the person who doesn't want more manufacturing and production here to get in? No, they want to invest in if someone who wants to build up in that area. So just getting my lunch. What's your SPY thoughts? My thoughts on the SPY are just, hey, does the 2 hour confirm up? That's why we're watching it for the next like 7 minutes, 7 and 8 minutes here. See if this confirms. But there is a signal on the 15-minute. If this would just curl down, hey, this would mean maybe it's going to go wrong for a little bit. I would really assume if they want people to get bearish that we would want, well, PCC elevated already. But if you need more than that, if they don't have enough bearishness, if they don't have enough liquidity, we could see this 15-minute rotate down. But if the 2 hour confirms up, hey, man, I like that. That's all I will say. I like that for bullishness if the 2 hour confirms up, and I know how it could fail. Plan for if it goes right, plan for if it goes wrong. You know what I mean? Can't get right. So that's how I see it right now. End of the trading session today, Gabanaber. But you're in Europe, so end of our trading session. So whatever 4 p.m. Eastern time for you is what it's going to be. Apparently, someone said 11 a.m. Who said 11? Okay, psychosocial going a little too hard here right now. Little too much for my morning. Yeah, like 2200. Okay. Oh yeah, my friends are in I have friends in Japan, so I trust me, I've gotten versed in the in the military time or whatever. Sorry, I'm tapping. I'm a tapper. My wife hates it. Look at that candle volume. Oh wow, gold. What time frame, Richard? 1 minute. Oh, on the 1 minute? You're crazy. It's not. You've seen way crazier. Now, here's the thing that you would more so read into maybe on the 1 minute is the fact that these big spikes are getting smaller and smaller. So something big is coming. And if I was let's say a good guessing man, and I think this is FOMOers, then this would be exactly what I would see at a potential top. But 30-minute curls up here. See more. People can get really FOMO'd for a long time. Things can be irrational, very irrational. I'm not someone who likes to buy things at highs. That's the best way to put it for gold. Now I know why you want to hate me, because hate is all the world has even seen lately. Love it. What's the good news? I think people are just making bets before the moment. We could easily gap down and then have data save you on Friday. And Jerome Powell, I think, talks on Friday. Just not a lot of data today, so nobody really talking about it. But tomorrow you'll get ISM Services PMI, and Friday non-farm payrolls and unemployment. It's supposed to tick up for unemployment. And Jerome Powell, I don't know where he's talking, but at 10:25, Jerome Powell's speech. Earnings would be good. Average hourly and average hourly earnings year over year, month over month. We're very split 50-50 on good or bad for the tariffs, which is great. It's just right neutral. So it's institutional buying pressure. I don't know if you could consider it institutional buying pressure. It's just people willing to try to make bets before it happens. If you want to go see like a dark pool trade or something like that, I think it was FX Evolution will give you that. He'll show you what happened. I think it was down in these areas. And it might have been up here. I don't remember, but just because it's up here and you see a big drop doesn't mean it's a big sell. Most of those big trades are position trades. So are they positioning for downside or upside? You only know pretty much if you get confirmation from a signal, and the 2 hour is confirming. So this is what we were looking for. But ultimately, still, 4 hour chart, guys. 4 hour has to confirm. So watch this for a couple hours because you still have that 15-minute divergence that is still formed. Very flat now. You're about to violate it. So this looks great. It was a massive sell comparatively. No, it was 2 days ago. Oh, okay. God, I wish we could listen to some tunage together, but yeah, I think the better way to look at it is like if you're thinking institution versus retail, smart money, dumb money, you're more looking like big money in retail or something like that. And then the big thing is, do people continue to short? Do we see this PCC continue to grow as we head to the upside? That's that's a sign that happens in short squeezes. We'll see. People keep shorting things on the way up. That's what feeds a short squeeze. But we'll see. I don't think we can really say anything until we get that news, like, fully. But we can read into the confirmations and make decisions based on them with momentum. The 15-minute was curled up, and you had this going on. So it might have just been a little bit of a hasty decision, Kalani, but I get you. It's a hard time to do the short time frames, I'm sure, for a lot of people. Are we squeezing? I don't think we can talk about a legit squeeze until we see the reaction. If you're squeezing, you're going to see big moves and start to see small moves throughout the day, but like gap ups or trailing up while people continue to try to short towards like 570. The big deal for this is if you're squeezing, here's how you know if you're squeezing. If you land outside of the weekly expected move and you stay outside of that expected move. And then if you're going to see like a big squeeze because you have a daily signal down here, then you'll probably get out of that monthly expected move at some point. But we're still going to treat this very seriously, right? This is where I'll potentially sell and leave runners for the stocks that I'm paying attention to, aka Amazon. I think NVIDIA looks great. I'm thinking about dabbling. I'm being very cautious because I've lost so much recently with bad decisions. Perfectly fine to be cautious. Be a little more cautious. But just don't let that cautiousness make you unaware of a good signal, right? And see if that signal's going wrong. That's unfortunate, Tyler. But I think you're in a scenario where it's built up for so long that, weirdly enough, even though it's lower probability for both, I think you're going to see squeeze or crash. And the sad part is you could see this to get people to say crash and then squeeze. That's the sad part. It happens. Options are on Friday. They could really shoot this down, rip everything away, and then gap it up on Monday. We've seen big moves on Mondays. When did the gap happen? On a Monday. What's this one? Friday? On a Monday, right? So we've seen some big moves on Mondays. That's the sad part. I think options dictate a lot of what the market does these days. But as long as you know that, then you know, okay, I need things like weekly expected moves. I need things like monthly expected moves. We should wait till the fake out. Doesn't mean wait. It means positioning is fine and being able to scale in while also understanding if something is going wrong. There's a lot to it. This is why trading is not like easy. It can be seen as simple. The way that I talk about it is trying to make it more simple for you, right? To show you, because I treat it very simply. But at times like this, I see this. I know we can do a lot of things down here, but I can position myself for out here, right? I can position myself out here. And if I get lucky and we do this before then, I can trim some, leave the runners if it's going to keep squeezing. If it's going to crash, well, then I need to not see reversal signals anywhere down in these levels. And right now we see reversal signals down in these levels and they're still holding. So I'm not going to sit there and be like, okay, this is going to crash down when I'm seeing a reversal signal to the upside. I know it can be more complex, but as long as we can remain in this area, I'm pretty comfortable. You lose 540 like confidently on like a weekly scale, that's where you start to get in some trouble, right? You start to reach down to 520 and things like that. So, you know, well, you're trying to get that out. I get it. You're trying to figure out which way this thing's going to go. And the 2 hour just confirmed to the upside. So this 2 hour momentum is telling you, not me. I'm just telling you what the MACD and the RSI is saying right now. And it's saying 2 hours turning up. From the divergence point here even, what are you doing, right? What are we doing from this divergence point over here, right? Let's do it on the RSI. I think the RSI is better for it, but I mean, you're not violating that. 4 hour, though, would be a better confirmation in my opinion. Because this actually shows it on your MACD and RSI at the same time. Bam, look at that. Yo, tell me right now, you sound like a wizard. You're a wizard. I say that to my daughter because her name is Ari. I say, you're a wizard, Ari. But yeah, 4 hour chart. Look at this. Like, who's gonna sit here and tell me that's not a reversal signal? Jay say I think it's possible, but like, is there one guy? I know someone's gonna troll me and say it. Thoughts on this scenario? You owned a September SPY call, bought near contracts low. Okay, September SPY call, bought near contracts low. Would you sell it today or take some profit or hold longer because it doesn't expire until September? Oh, I would be comfortably holding here for a September. Like you're talking September 2025? Yeah, if the scenario was I'm in calls or holding a stock, you own a September SPY call. Okay. If I was in a call for September, I'd be very comfortable here. Very comfortable. Right? Now, maybe that September call, I say, hey, if we go through something really ugly here, and this actually does get, look how important this month is. This is like, we have to turn around this month. YouTubers and retail betting on a bottom in a bear market below the 200. Oh, yeah, but what YouTubers? How many YouTubers do you think give financial analysis? It's not. It might be, Polish. You might be right. I'm perfectly comfortable with us gapping down tomorrow. I would just say if you start to see things that fail, like he's talking about, right? The reversal signals, right? The Polish. No, I think that's perfectly fine to say, hey, you know, this isn't any crazy kind of volume yet. It's very, very low volume, okay? Just make sure you understand this can go wrong. I don't think that's a bad thing to say at all, Polish. But if I had September calls, would I sell them when I'm seeing a daily divergence? That's pretty much what we're getting at. Now, this divergence isn't on the MACD at the same time, but a big stock has it at the same time. If NVIDIA confirms this, that's wild. If Meta confirms this, which it's trying to, it's not a good confirmation, but it's trying to, right? That would be pretty crazy. Microsoft rejecting, not giving you the divergence blatantly on the MACD. It doesn't have to be there. Rejections can happen. But VIX not able to confirm up on a daily, right? The way this gets worse is the daily turns up. Remember when we said, if you go look a few days ago, what are you aware of? If the daily confirms up, crash starts to be really on the table again. The daily is not confirming up right now on the MACD. It has on the RSI and the price action. That happens all the time. It's early. So yeah, I get you. We'll pay attention to both sides, and I think that's all Polish wants us to do, and I think that's awesome. Love the Rumble last week. Hey, that's awesome. I appreciate it, buddy. We're doing it all week, right? We're doing it every single day. We will be, as long as everything's going good. We, with the with everything at home and the weather, all that good stuff, internet. Yeah, we'll be live later today over on Rumble. So I appreciate you shouting out Rumble, buddy. Thank you. The graph like this, the graph here, when I click on volume, I usually don't have it up, but the volume's super light right now on this push. So Polish is very justified to talk about this. To be like, watch out, it might be a liquidity grab to wipe people out. Perfectly fine to do, right? That 30-minute can still curl down again. It's getting further and further away from the center line, though, which adds more to higher low. They already swept the low. So 4-hour chart. Am I watching what really is important? 4-hour chart. And I still have the side stuff in case I get the scale-in opportunity again, right? Yeah, these right here. Yep. I just don't put them up too often because at the end of the day, you can move up on light volume, you can move up on big volume. And sometimes short squeezes actually have light volume or it goes down. Notice that here, the squeezing, it was coming down, which is a sign for once it gets low enough that it could be coming, slowing. All right, we had some fun today. I probably got to hop off now. Wifey's going to be, baby girl's about to wake up, and I like to help out around this time. Oh, I don't know. Polish missile, your thing got deleted. I don't know if you deleted it or if something on YouTube got it, but you might have said something. I don't know. Twice. I like the MACD on the bottom. That goes green up and red down. Yeah, exactly. So that's just a histogram. This is a histogram. Signal line is the red line for the MACD. Yeah. Just click on it. If you ever wonder what's in your MACD, just go look. Right? Just go look. And you can do this. You can look at the colors to see, okay, that's a signal line. Right? Just look at the colors. It's good to do. It's good to understand what things are. I get it. All right, guys. I have to take off. I still want to be aware if these things rotate back down, right? We still want to be aware that at the end of the day, anything can be a trap. But for the time being, you have confirmed up the 2-hour chart. That is a very good sign. You actually have a great confirmation here, taking you above the 5, crossing on the MACD, up above that signal line, and above 50 now for the RSI. That's very, very good. These are starting to point in the bullish direction. It can go wrong. We have a big event going on towards the end of the day. So if you want to hang out with us later, join us over on Rumble. Last little shout out, the course sale has started. It was not an April Fool's joke. You can get it down in the description just for $200 now. Very, very cheap if you want to learn how we do things with the full technical analysis course. If you're a little green and you want to get that swing trade course, that's always just $50, okay? So thank you guys so much for joining today. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great trading session, and I will see you guys later on Rumble. Make sure I didn't miss anything. So that means I need to read the instructions. How long is the course? I mean, some people have knocked it out in one day. Some people space it out over a few days. I try to keep it very simple. I try to keep it with more information does not mean better, right? A plumber who works for an hour but gets the job done perfectly is better than the plumber who takes 3 days to fix your toilet and charges you more and charges you the same amount, right? So just take that into consideration. I put things that I utilize strictly just what I like, what I think every trader needs to know in order to really trade in a market like this. And weekly expected moves, even if you're not doing options, this is a very options driven market. So even if you're doing shares, understanding weekly expected moves, monthly expected moves is a great thing. And you can maybe ask some people in the chat later on, maybe join us on Rumble and some people can talk about their experience with the course and see if it's right for you or wrong. Okay? If you're very new to the channel, we like to say you'll have time. Okay? So if you're very new, stick around for a few days first before you go, make that decision. I want to respect everyone's money, even if it's $7 for Patreon or $200 for a course. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Really appreciate it. You guys have been fantastic. We got to talk about some fun things. We got confirmation from a 2-hour. We understand that this can go wrong, and that's perfect. So as long as we continue to trade like water, and as long as we manage our risk correctly and understand having a plan for a trade and then having a plan for if that trade goes wrong, we'll be just fine. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on Rumble at the close. Peace out. Yes, you will have access to the course forever. So I am planning to add to it. I've added to it like 5 different times in 2024. As we see things develop, that could be very useful. So we will be adding to the course kind of a psychological video to go through the behavior and emotions of a trader in certain scenarios. And I think that's good for people to see. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Peace out. Have a great day. Daily expected moves in the bottom right. Last chance to get them if you want them, unless you want to come over to Rumble. All right, guys. Peace out.